Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Essentials.tf. And it is essential you keep your eyes fixated on this screen because it's ETF2L 6v6 Autumn 2024 Grand Final. Yes, boys and girls, we have made it to the grand finale of our online season. And yes, that is a very, very encapsulated word for this grand final. It's online, no LAN players, no shenanigans here. I'm joined with my fellow onliner, not Steven. How are we doing, Steven?
I am doing very well, Turbo. Looking forward to this game. It's been a bit of a surprise on who we've actually got into this finals. I think the expected team here was MANDEM. They've been doing very well last season, obviously winners of our previous season as well. So unsurprising to see them here. They've made it all the way through that upper bracket, undefeated thus far coming into things. However, a team a little less expected are the side of Forfence here, making that run all the way through the lower bracket, having to play 2 games, one yesterday, one today, and now facing this final boss of MANDEM in this grand finals.
You know, there's such things called the butterfly effect, and if you're not quite aware of what that means out there, that is just like the simple flick of a butterfly's wings could impact very, very sudden and big things. And this includes the ETF2L season, because I believe that all of this is Yak's fault. 100%. I think that basically, for offense, if you're French as well, you need to double thanks your boy Yak, because if this man didn't get slamming drunk at Uberfest and didn't beef his official that they played at LAN at 11 p.m. so against Forfence, so they could tidily get their points in needed, they wouldn't be here today, Stephen.
You don't think so? You think that's the reason? You think because they didn't
I
have
went
to
into
have
the
to play
chat
LAN?
logs. This man started the match by saying "blue bonk, red bonk?" Question mark.
I think it was a blue bonk here. But talking about that, to be honest, this Forfence team isn't the team we really saw at LAN, right? It's actually only 2 players, I
Yes,
believe.
I think we got Nevo, and I'm not entirely certain. Let me have a scan of the roster because I need to. I also partaked in the blue bonk and red bonk, so forgive me, poor Frenchies, as I'm not sure. Yeah, I think it's only just Nevo that
Yeah,
really
I
lit
think you
up.
are right there.
So, and I mean, to give him credit, he did turn to LAN. He was calling for the 3.5 stars team who were doing all right. They didn't get onto the podium, but they still caused a ruckus at LAN. So maybe we do have a little less online syndrome for this team. Whilst over on MANDEM, I don't think we've got any sort of representatives from the Uberfest and all this. But I mean, maybe we need to get this offline personality out of our systems here, not Steven, because this is online. And I mean, maybe it just comes down to that these online players are a lot more hungrier for an online title, as it's, just what's available to them.
Yeah, I think there was definitely really some fatigue in those 2 teams that have been dropped out. That's Skeda and New Panzer team who were playing offline just a week ago and both did like incredibly well for themselves. But yeah, this MANDEM team, this is where they want to get their trophy, right? They may not be getting anything, in person. However, they are going to be getting that lovely team page gold medal if they can win this one out. So yeah, I think both these teams super, super keen to be winning this. And I think this French roster has shown that it's really strong. I think coming into this, it was a little unexpected that the Frenchies have done as well as they have, but I mean, they've had some real great performances here. Do you have any like key players on this French team? Do you think like these big improvements that have been carrying to make them do so well in these playoffs?
I believe Brugman is a huge force for this team. Obviously, he's got a huge amount of respect from every single soldier I ever chat to about this guy. And for good cause, he just seems to be extremely solid at the game. I mean, realistically, I'm looking at every single person on this squad, and there's not a person that kind of sticks out in like a sore way or anything like that. There's no dead weight here. This is an extremely strong roster. If the only thing that was maybe rocky for this team was how they started off the season. When they were coming out, they weren't blazing out of the gates here, Stephen. They were struggling a little bit, but they seemed to find their feet, and it's about how you finish and not how you start, I suppose.
Yeah, I think absolutely. Yeah, I'm just looking through their team page. Like basically 4 losses. They had 1 draw of a game, but lost the first 4 weeks basically, and only clinched it back, as you were saying, by beating Pepe's Pizza Party with a drunken yak here. So that basically clutched them into getting into these playoffs. And they've kind of made a run of the century here when up against Skedda and New Panzer. Both relatively close affairs, though, losing a map on each. However, the side of MANDEM, I think, pretty much got here unscathed. Maybe a point or 2 loss, that's about it.
If you're living under a rock, let me just remind you of all these players, and instead of just showing the limelight and just one of my personal favorites, over on the side of Fourth Fence in your grand final will be QB and Nevo on the Scouts, D-Mool and Brugeman on the Soldier class, Delhi will be playing that Demoman, and Muller will be on that Lovable Medic. And over on the side of MANDEM, we do have Lardux and Haunts on the Soldier, Boulder and Pandemic on Scout. Fancy is going to be playing Demoman and Oppie on the Medic class. Now, you've asked me my kind of picks for the French squad, but what are your picks of the MANDEM squad here, not Stephen? Who should we keep our eye on?
I have to say, so what the games I've been watching, I have to say Fancy has been playing insane in these online games. He's been playing super, super well. Absolutely diff Gigi, who was a bit of a land savant, had some really, really good games, was kind of dipping on the demo man a lot of these games, but Fancy has just been on another level against him and just dropping like 350 DPM when Gigi's only able to drop like 150. It was insane here. So I think you have to watch out for Fancy here, but to be honest, it's just an absolute star-studded lineup here, and I think every player knows their place. It's a team who's been playing for 4 or 5 seasons. It's pretty much the same squad. A couple of players coming in and out here, but this core of this team is super solid, and they look just as good this season.
Yeah, exact sort of situation for Four Fence in the fact that MANDEM doesn't have any sort of weak links. I would not pick out a single player that's in a negative light. And they all have their own little strengths as well. It's not like you just throw a bunch of like pasta people in the bowl and just start mixing it up. No. These, you got some brains in this squad, and everyone is just really brings something to the table. And I am honestly captivated and highly excited for this grand final, and no amount of like negative land bringing up can ruin it for me, Stephen.
No, it's going to be a super good game either way. I'm wondering how these teams are going to play. Obviously, we have our maps as well, and our first map is going to be Process. Process usually thought of as a fast map, right? You come in fast to mid with these soldier fast bombs. You bomb deep onto second. You can go behind. There's all sorts of stuff you can do. So it's thought of that more aggressive map. Obviously, last always slows down a little bit, but we even see these teams rushing into last quite a lot once that sentry gun's down, doing a lot of damage. And yeah, I think we'd have to agree it's a faster map here. Which team do you think this suits a little more?
I'm going all out for the MANDEM. I think Boulder is just really crucial on this map. He just seems to look really confident in his scout plays. Maybe not like full fat Tomas confident, not that levels, but like just extremely in tune with the map. I feel like when he is like navigating, making these pushes, especially like these pushes in second and whatnot, they're really top tier stuff. So for Fence though, I don't know. If I had to think of a win condition that they're going to have to lean on, it's more about whether or not these soldiers can kind of make these sorts of shenanigans happen on mid. But it's hard because I don't feel like it's not like Haunts just disappears from mid as well. He is also a very reliant force on that mid. So I'm just going to give it to MANDEM just because they've got that bolder edge.
Yeah, I think I'd have to agree. I think we don't have map picks and bans, so we're kind of going off a little bit of a guess here, guesstimate of who has picked this. But I think this would be a MANDEM map, right? This feels like a bit more of their bread and butter, as you were saying. Super Scout dominant, and Boulder has just been absolutely insane. In his previous couple of games that he's played as well in these playoffs, he has been that top fragger, that guy doing the damage. And I think he works super, super well with June. June, obviously a bit of a star-studded medic, or Upi, as she's now known as, plays so well with scouts. I think that's one of the underrated things when you do look at June and how she plays, is she will take that risk and play it aggressive with a scout, and then just have the movement and the awareness of knowing when to get out. And it just enables Boulder to go in so deep and just take way more kills than he should do sometimes. And I think June has been like the perfect addition for this team.
Yeah, Oppie is most certainly, I would say, probably one of the more successful players that have hit the game, realistically. This player seems to just she just gets into certain rosters, and I'm pretty sure she has like the highest win rate out of players out there in an ETF2L season. But you might have to pull out the stat sheets to really sort of prove me wrong in that. But it just seems kind of wild because usually you have, in my mind, like these sort of all-time goats, these kind of medics that seem to be in such a golden stature that they can't possibly be toppled. But maybe we need to start kicking off our high horses here and maybe start crowning some new kings and queens.
Yeah, super, super underrated. But you talk about those medics with legacy. We've got Mueller here. I mean, Mueller is
Yeah.
a bit of a star-studded medic. How many times has he won Prem now? It's got to be a few times, right?
Yeah, I think definitely on the sort of coattails of Witness Gaming, he was a force in that. And at the end of the day, he is, got some mighty trophies in that cabinet as well. But again, it's going to be a fun discussion to have, maybe. And I think also this is the kind of grand final that MANDEM start to kind of seal a bit of a legacy here. If they can kind of keep pressing in this dominance into their ETF2L season, the conversations are going to have to be had about, where does this team stand in the grind, the grind of Hall of Fame?
Yeah, they've made it look kind of easy coming into this. They played against New Panther, who were thought of as the best team coming into this, but no, they kind of got demolished. I think it was a 3-1 and a 4-1 or something like that. So it was not particularly close. So this team won last season's looking really good for this season. They obviously had those struggles of coming second place a few times, but they feel like they've got really comfortable as a roster now. And yeah, they could be making a legacy in that team to kind of beat that we haven't really seen since the Witness Gaming depart from the scene. So yeah, I think these guys, they want to have a legacy as well, right? They want to be known as some of the best players to touch European TF2, and I think they're well on their way because they just play TF2 like no other team. They play it kind of balls to the walls, no fear, always going in aggressive and just trusting their DM instead of playing the slower style that we saw Seven kind of pioneer many moons ago.
Yeah, the only thing that's obviously missing is that that dreaded three-letter word, but I mean, it's fine. It's on the horizon here. It's not like there isn't any more that's going to come. There is Poland around the corner next year, and mark my words, this season it might not be the full plans, but I think you'll be seeing the early stages of blueprints about what teams are going to be rocking going into the next year.
Yeah, I mean, it's only a few months away, right? So it might be basically mid-season by the time that happens, mid-March. So if these teams can kind of get confidence and get a roster together for that, we could see them, yeah, taking a LAN championships as well if they keep on playing here. I wonder if this Frenchies roster will come in a bit more because I knew some of the issues were Demul wasn't able to play is one of the big reasons why a lot of these Frenchies didn't turn up. He had his school work to do, basically, he had a university exam and wasn't able to come in here. But I feel like if these Frenchies can get a roster together for LAN, they're kind of built different sometimes. I remember last LAN, Demul, he came in, food poisoning, was playing for that TLR roster at the previous PoLAN. He turned up for one of his playoffs, or maybe it was finals games, and just did absolute work for that team. So if we can see a team with that Brugesman in it, I think we have a really, really good LAN coming up in March.
Yeah, they've got real black horse energy, I would say, over on the French side. They just seem to always be a team that could just take it away at any sort of random day. And I mean, they're doing well so far. They've kind of proved everybody wrong in the last 3 games. So why not just add a 4th game onto that? It's should be easy, right?
Yeah, surely they will just play out of their mind here. I think you're right. I think it can kind of, flip on a dime here. I don't think it's really anyone's game until we kind of get into things. And I think this MANDEM roster's had a target on their head, right? These teams would have been looking at how they play and thinking of counter strats. They're definitely like that number one team who you want to be watching, you want to be seeing what they're doing, and you want to be coming up with these counter plays. It feels like MANDEM sometimes has a strat book and they play to it a little religiously at times. Obviously, they do also have some crazy creative plays, but it feels like maybe they have 1 or 2 mids, and if they know those mids on the 4th sides, I think they might have a bit of a challenge.
And I do want to note here that they only have one Prem once, this MANDEM squad. I know we're already talking about goats and all this, but it's still a long way to kind of, set up a thing. And coming back and defending a title is very different to going out and winning a title as well. Is the hunger going to still be there for MANDEM?
Oh, absolutely. They're this sort of team who always wants to win it. They're always grinding in the off season as well. I think we talked about the legacy a bit before. I think this is more about cementing the legacy here, but they need to be careful against this French team because the Frenchies were the team that brought them closest to a loss last season as well.
Well, what of this then? Instead, if I change that little word from hunger to pressure. Now, pressure has always been kind of a sore spot for MANDEM, especially as soon as this team was made. They were expected of great things, and it took them a couple of seasons, to kind of, iron out the kinks and kind of figure things out. But now that they're back in the winning slot, does that pressure come back now in a form of just, we're expected to win this?
Yeah, I think you have a really good point there, actually. They were known as the chokers for a couple of seasons, right? They had like amazing regular seasons, but just could not put it together for so many seasons. And I think they are a team that if the pressure gets to them, they may crumble here. So I think you're right. This Witness Gaming team, they have to be a little bit careful and make sure that they don't just kind of get a little bit tilted and not know what to do, lose track of the game here, and just keep their heads together here, because this French team, they've got the power of friendship. Right, I think they're the kind of team who they're not going to get like super tilted. They're going to play their own game, and they're the underdog. They have nothing to lose here. So I think if the pressure gets to this MANDEM team, we could see another second place if they're not careful.
Man, we are waiting for a tournament. What is this tournament here, Stephen? What are the players doing? They are definitely not outside for a cigarette break. They are not. I see most of them. They're DMing each other. I think they're literally just listening in and having a good fiend on the stream. And it's like,
our production is saying it's not their fault, but Nebo is literally asking cast ready.
Look,
and as we say this,
starting.
they have readied up here. We are going into this Prem Grand Final here. It will be MANDEM in the red, 4fence in the blue. It's all to play for on this first map of Process. Why don't you take us away on this mid here, Turbo?
All right, I'm expecting a very patient mid to start off, a very sort of feely-outy. I don't want to go balls to the wall here. I just want to see what the other team is kind of up to. And so far, yeah, my prediction's right. Everyone's just kind of chilling. Brugman doing the first jump on the first person he sees, and that's Boulder. He gets focused all down by these scouts, and with the main man going down, they get desperate on the side of MANDEM. They throw in a couple of players, see if they can fish out anything from this mid, salvage something. They do keep their medic alive and send Oppie all the way back to keep that Uber charge, but 4fence starting out strong with a single direct attack on Boulder.
Yeah, and they're already onto last here. They're trying to put them in the bin, not let them out of spawn. However, they have this Putis. He's doing a lot of work here. Does take down Demul, and that will be one player too many going down. They have to back out. They have one on cap as well. Just do not want to take this fight here. However, 4fence, a good start to this game, right? Taking second straight away here. And yeah, getting things off to a nice start. But now they're going to have to break this last hold. Already able to build a gun up here on the side of MANDEM, and then they're going to be able to set up a forward hold, and it's notoriously hard to defeat here. But we'll see what they want to do. If they go in quick now, they might be able to get things kind of going before they get that full setup. It's a soldier in through one here. Two players up top, actually, for the French side. This could be huge here. Going to just spam out the gun with these soldiers at two, but it's holding a headshot onto Brugman. That's not great for them, and they even lose a scout of QB. I liked what they were doing there, though. It was a really good attempt.
I don't know, it's a very risky way to go down for a spamming of a sentry gun. Yeah, it does kind of turn the pressure cooker on a little bit for MANDEM, but they're no snuff, so they're not going to be able to take this quite cool, calm and collected. So far they've been playing quite the rock, paper, scissors, and to be honest, they should have seen a couple of these rocks coming from 4fence. I mean, Sticky's on the point, the running sniper at last and all this, and they're going into heaven. Like, these are kind of weak mix-up plays so far.
Sometimes you have to make that aggressive play happen. You have to have a little bit of a distraction that they're not really expecting. It's a fight in two. Lardox nearly wins that out, actually. Only 50 HP on Demul. Needs to be a little more careful next time coming into that fight. See what 4fence want to do coming into this lobby area. Do they want to try to take a trade? They need to be careful of the sniper that's watching out here. They are playing this cookie cutter, and they're just getting absolutely demolished in this 3 and 4 door. Fancy and Haunt doing just so much damage to those soldiers before they can even try to get in.
I like the attempt of a push out. This is a good time. They're going to go a bit brave with the sniper, though. See if they can just fish for more picks. Otherwise, they don't really feel pressured to actually make the commitment here. You do have that round reset happening in 3 minutes' time, and I can see that's probably going to be the win condition here for them to get back into the game.
Yeah, it's so hard, right? I feel like if you get those 2 picks on a medic force, you can maybe push out, but that's about it. Once you've got those 2 off classes, that engineer and that sniper, it just makes it so hard to actually even like push out, because then you're trying to all the way up to spawn. That's wasting 5 seconds. The spawners and the soldiers are basically up, so it's a little safer just to take that back seat, go for a shot on the sniper, and if not, you just head back and you've lost nothing here. And it's still Forfeit struggling to get in. They're trying to find something in these 4 and 5 doors, but they're losing Delhi once again.
Yeah, Haunts is proving very resilient between 4 and 5, finding these picks as well. It probably helps that Fancy is kind of linking up with him every now and then, just kind of nuke the field. But a Demoman pick is not juicy enough, Stephen. They want more.
Yeah, once again, it's just so easy for them to use an Uber, right? And basically take that trade. The spawners come up. If you lose one person, that Uber trade, that last just feels so easy to push because there's going to be no sentry gun on it either.
All right. The QB, he's come up as sniper, but Boulder reads him like a book, or should I say reads him like a spy, as he just checks the little disguise kit, realizes that QB is going to be playing sniper, and he's come back as sniper. I mean, he's more back on sniper, but yeah, at least now they're aware there's going to be some sort of chicanery of this QB sniper.
Yeah, he's peeking through one slowly but surely here. Can he find a hero shot? No medic in the dispenser. Nice headshot on to Fancy. However, there's no one to follow up there. They needed more info on where that medic's playing. Usually, he'll just kind of play in the dispenser spot, and it gives him a bit more armor against these soldiers. But the soldiers have been a bit of a non-issue. Rougeman falls once again, so it's once again Forfeit having to slow things down. And this time it keeps ticking down, right? For about 1 minute remaining. This is trade territory.
Yeah, I like Oppie's position here. I never really was a huge fan of the Iron Man dispenser, just sit him in the thing, but ideally you'd like this dispenser to be where it is at. It kind of provides all your soldiers, you know, that useful spam ammo for them to do all that sort of playing, pushing out. But I don't know, that spot seems very fragile, surprisingly, despite having a dispenser there. And yeah, he can also just play. She can also just play around at this sentry gun very effortlessly as well. Hero shot coming in from QB, but he goes down like a hero. And yeah, back to the respawn queue for him.
Yeah, just waddles in there. Has to go for something because we're down to 30 seconds remaining. Once this Rougeman spawner comes in, it's absolutely everyone who kind of needs to rush in and take this trade here because the clock is just ticking down ever so fast here. 15 seconds remaining, and now you're just under this time pressure on the side of Forfeit. They're going to know this is exactly the play they're going in for. And Delhi is dropped from this, gets joggled in by Fancy before the push even comes in. They just back out. They know there's no chance. The timer is ticking down, and the Forfeit's perfect mid hit has turned into a catastrophic attempt at last. They barely even got a shot onto Ubi.
Yeah, they maybe got a bit excited from the first initial mid. They obviously went to push last really quickly to the point where they kind of lost a couple of players. That was probably their best chance of making something work here. I think that they took their time a little bit with it, played it a bit more sneakier rather than just like thinking they could cap the point when the Demo Man still exists. But c'est la vie. It is a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new mid. It's no points for either team so far, and turning up to mid is Fancy, already staring down the barrel of the left-hand side, and Haunts goes down really early. Demo showing a lot of impact and even lives to tell the tale.
It feels like they know exactly who to focus on this Forfeit side because their mids have been impeccable here. They've absolutely shut down everything they've been trying to do on the MANDEM side here. They've had absolutely no chance thus far. We'll see if they can do a better job of getting into last here this time. Make sure they don't lose a player. They've got a lot of spam on this hype, but again, it's this Heavy's going to come out and just ruin their day, but actually he's really struggling here. There's only one soldier outspawned. He's taken down. The point about to be capped, and they are on it straight away, but so much damage coming out from Fancy, but gets picked here. Can this Heavy do miracles of work here? They get the Uber, so much cap time on point. It's going to be traded out here. Uber. And now this is going to be so close. This Heavy's going to be so healthy. This Scout and Demo Man have the damage, though. Now it's just this soldier and medic combo, and there's so many up on the Forfeit side. Can they come in time? No, they can't. First cap goes the way of Forfeit. Whew. That was good. That was very nice from Forfeit.
Yeah, the difference you could make here was the soldiers got into the, I would like to call the winning position of any sort of last push. If they just get above you on that heaven area, whatever door you are coming out of, what is a team to do? You have a soldier just literally shooting max damage rockets on all 4 members of your team coming out of that door. Yeah, and they had 2 of them there on top. There was pretty much a guaranteed last, apart from that Uber that made things a bit scary.
Yeah, it's very close, but it's another mid coming in here. It's Nevo going down as our first casualty here. Rouge as well here, so it's looking a little dicey from this 4th fence side. However, they managed to get Upi during all this, and Mula has hightailed it all the way out through IT. He's got QB charioting him all the way back onto last. Surely they'll get their spawners in and try to make something happen from this as well.
Yo, they're angry, Steven. They're angry. They're tired of losing mid. So they thought, we're not playing defensive anymore. You just seems to surgically pick us apart. So they get very aggressive. They just like run over the grass area of poor 4 fence. But in that sort of aggressive play, you're not really focusing about protecting your medic. And I mean, to the credit of Oppie, I'm pretty sure it was just a pipe that managed to catch us. So what can you do against those sort of mids? But it does mean that they lost the Uber war in this little exchange. So now Mula pop in early. They're going to go in American style, just pop in the Ubers really early just to get aggressive and just find any sort of picks they can. But they only find Haunt. It's not the worst, but it's not the best.
Yeah, it might be a bit of a flip-flop here. It was Haunt on Sniper there, just looking at that choke. They knew they weren't going to be able to get in without taking a casualty, so decided to send Deli in deep, but the rest of the team of MANDEM was playing that properly. They managed to get themselves out, and they managed to get themselves a Uber advantage here, and they look like they want to take it through choke here.
I know what you're thinking. Why would they Uber in so early like that, Turbo? Well, because they you can set up for a lot of shenanigans in plays here. Because obviously they have to do a flip-flap back and forth. They can do the sort of pick plays to try and force out the Uber. Both of them have failed so far, and you could also set up for a back cap as well. I'm not sure if QB was either going for a sort of pick play there, hiding in IT, or sorry. Yeah, in sewers, I should say, and it just didn't work out, and then the plan B didn't work out as well, which was just throwing the soldier in. So this has gone bad from worse, but they does delay enough time for you to get your Uber on second, so overall it's not the riskiest kind of flip-flop play to make in this game.
Yeah, it's really nice that Mula manages to get up his Uber here, and as the team that's got a round up, they kind of are okay with going back just that little bit, because they know they have a round in the bank. They've got a bit more time to play with. They don't have to make the super aggressive plays here. Now it's kind of on the side of MANDEM. And if they make some mistakes here and they get a couple more picks or they don't force out the Uber, it can be really, really nice for 4 fence here. So it's now on MANDEM to see what they want to do. I do see a Pandemic running all the way back to spawn here. So I think we're going to see a sniper, and that's exactly what comes up here. Good point for sniping.
Yeah, this is also a very strong point of the map as well, because they can't class check over on second point, at least not easily, so they should not see this coming. The fact that Pandemic didn't die as well, it's not very telegraphed that he could have the option to go as sniper, so this should be as surprising as it gets for Pandemic Sniper. So let's see what he can start with his first shot.
Yeah, he's going to peek through choke, look for a scout on the high ground usually, but there's no one there, so has to rotate himself round to sewers. Checking these stickies, he's going to want to get someone to open the door, and it's all about this first pick, this first peek, before anyone really knows it. It's onto Deli, and it rings true. It's a nice headshot now that opens things up. No traps around. They can get so much more aggressive here on the MANDEM side.
Look at 4 fence, they're panicking. They're dropping every player out of second, immediately just give it up. But no, Demoman does feel like that sometimes. He's a huge force in your defense, and very nice by 4 fence to actually make this decision quickly.
It was a little bit scary. Mueller did walk past his sight line just for a second there. Pandemic not able to get the shot here, but now they have to be careful. They know the sniper's up, but he can get so aggressive. It's 2 picks, though, going the way of 4 fence just for a trade of 1. And they might want to look to get something while there's a sniper up on this field. No, they're going to play it safe. They're not silly. They don't want to lose this round straight out, because I feel like every process game I've seen, the rounds are lost when you push out. We really want to see this like TF2 where everyone's getting aggressive, but it feels like that one mistake on pushing out just loses it for you so easily. So they're going to take the safe bet. They're a round up. They're quite happy to sit on this last point. Their mids have looked so good as well on this 4 fence side. They wouldn't mind resetting. Yeah,
but your back is against the wall here, and it sometimes seems to be a bad decision no matter what you make. Stay at last, maybe lose the round, or push out, maybe lose the round. So let's see if they can survive this flavor of gauntlet they've chosen. And this flavor comes with a Pandemic Sniper who's, you know, hot right now.
Yeah, Pandemic has been playing so well and has had some absolutely beautiful plays on this sniper, and it only takes one pick to really get things started. It's a soldier bombing in, manages to take down 3 with this though. They're going to have to play so passive here, only a scout, a medic, and a demo man up. Do Forfents want to push this? It looks like they do. They just need to make sure that they don't take a bad trade fight here. It doesn't look too bad as Upi had to take an ultimate.
QB spotted it. I was worried about a trap then from Fancy. That's realistically the only sort of tie turner you can make between those sorts of two classes. I have seen some teams dedicate an Uber and then just kind of do some scrappy fight happening on second, which is always very stressful because you could get back capped at any moment. But they did side against that over on Mandem. So let's see what they're cooking now. Is it going to be a bolder slow push from Sewers? That's usually the special.
Yeah, looks like they are just looking for some info, see if they can get some damage, find anyone who can bomb in here as Lardok just waddling in, trying to find something, but not really able to get much bolder, as you say, has managed to come out here, get a little bit of aggression. They just need to find a tag on something so they can really get a fight something going, so it's kind of all on Fancy to get a lot of damage here.
Delhi
taking down Low Moolah as well.
Yeah, and there's only one crossbow to go around, and Horns jumps in at the perfect timing. You could even get more surgical. It looked like something out of a textbook, Steven.
Yeah, that's exactly what they needed to do there. Just get those tags onto Moolah, get that bomb in. Horns was so unseen there. I'm surprised someone wasn't really covering that IT area a little bit better, but nice from Mandem, and now they get to take it slow and steady. There's no rush. There's a bit of spam from these soldiers, and a sniper who does ring out a headshot. However, it's not going to mean too much when you just instantly get an arrow for Fancy, and while they've made a little bit of a time, then they should get about 70-80% Uber, they've dropped Rougeman, and there's still a disad.
Yeah, and they haven't really had much time to set up. Oh, I say that. QB's already at last. He's set up. He's okay, well. So the sentry gun is going to delay a little bit of the Uber, but they're not quite really set up in all their positions, and Boulder's being ever so annoying, but getting a lot of cap time on the point, allowing Fancy to now get a good amount of damage onto this heavy weapons guy. That's plan B out of this detail, but they've got a plan C, D, and E over on Forfence, and my god, they get some style points on top of it too.
Yeah, that was really good from them there. Delhi was a bit of an MVP there, didn't get a kill. But what made things last so long was he just had stickies on point. There was a scout who was constantly playing around with it, thinking he was going to det, and then someone could get in, get a little bit aggressive, but Delhi kind of held strong until he knew someone was committed to that point. And yeah, held out really nicely on the Forfence side. And look at this. They get mid for free, and they still have 100% Uber. We might see a coast to coast here, Turbo.
Yeah, heartbreaker rounds as I see them in my eye. What feels like was your round and it just slips between your fingers, but Forfence now have to go through a very similar gauntlet. Can Mandem show them how it's really done?
Yeah, we'll see how they defend here. They are going to be getting Uber for this last at the very least. Oh, it's a big one from Bruges. Does manage to get Fancy with the help from Delhi there. So not the worst thing in the world. Actually, this is decent trade territory as Nevo is taking it into last. They need to get down this sentry gun fast, but they're really not able to. Delhi finally takes it down with Nevo.
There's nobody on
and look at this.
There's
no one on point. It's a good block finally, but they get so much cap time. Oh, QB onto the medic with Upi.
Why?
And the shots though.
Why, QB? Why? You didn't need to do that. You had so much cap time. I know they lost Rougeman, but I feel like there was options to be had here. They could have maybe played with that because with so much cap time, it kind of forces a lot of people onto that one sort of area. It makes your flank areas or your sort of extremities of these little 5 doors of process very scary. And I need to clean my screen here. It says here I've got 2 spies. That's not real. Oh, wait. Oh, Christ, that's real.
This is a French team, right? They've got to bring out the double Frenchman here.
Okay.
This is something, right? What are they cooking up here? Not much if Rougeman's just going to die straight away here. Usually they'll want to go for the sentry gun. They go for that aggressive decloak. You get the sap. But what is happening here?
Okay,
he stays alive?
I mean, he's killed the sentry gun because he's killed the engineer. It's simple gameplay here. Kill the heart and the head will die. And QB, it's not over. I love a sequel. Can he get this? They're not going to see this coming.
No, absolutely not. Why would you make this play?
It's so difficult. They're jumping in with the initial thing. They get the stab on the heavy weapons guy for some reason. And yeah, I guess Oppie just smelt something in the air and doesn't like the smell of cheese and will get out of there.
They were cooking a little too hard. I just couldn't take that play seriously. I'm like, what are they realistically going for? I was like, oh, maybe they want to get the sap and sack and then have a spy come in a bit late if they don't get the Uber Force, potentially. But they wanted to go for the double spy. Maybe thought they tried to push out when getting a couple of picks here. I'm not 100% sure what the plan was. Maybe they wanted that medic. But Upi was just playing in spawn. There was just absolutely no chance.
I genuinely think they didn't expect Demo to do as much work as he did. They were like, okay, Demo, you just going to distract. It's like, what the hell? This guy got an engineer kill and a sentry.
Is Demul on this sniper here, trying to peek through one. There's a lot of pressure in here from his fellow soldier. However, it's going to be so hard for him to get out and does lose his life. Horns goes down, but losing Deli there is pretty tragic. No stickies on the doors.
Is it tasty enough, though? I mean, they feel pretty camped here. They've got a teleporter. You can't give that up.
Yeah, real important stuff going on with the teleporter. But no, I think with Horns down, it just makes it too hard to clear all those doors. There's basically 4 entrances that you can be getting in or hiding in on this map. So you have to be really careful when you do push out. And they know there's still time left on this clock. If this round does reset, it's still 8 minutes left. And it's just not worth it.
Right.
They're not under enough pressure quite yet, but can Demul find anything with Turbo?
Okay, gentlemen, I've sent Demo my energy. I expect a headshot to come out momentarily. He's even killed that trap ahead of time with his mind. So let's see if they go in. They're actually just Ubering in and then seeing what they could do in the post. I've spent my entire POV on your POV, Demo. You better give me something good.
Yeah, and he's going to do absolutely nothing with it. It's just going to be Rougeman going down there.
Oh my
As we say this,
my energy is cracked. Quick, I'm buying lottery tickets.
I think you absolutely should here. However, enough players have gone down. It's going to be a difficult defense here. They might need to hightail it out on 4 fence as Nigo is going to lose his life here. Now, Muna needs to be careful as there's a couple of players that could chase him, but no, the help just not good enough on the MANDEM side. And now this is huge, going to be uber advantage. They're not scared of anything. It's Deli is just sending himself in.
I mean, they were playing really sheepishly. I mean, to say a team that lost their medic and yet they somehow push out a second. And you have all these buffs and all that, but I guess better safe than sorry. They just get their medic out of there. Very mid-style, where you just want to preserve the life of your medic, keep that uber charge advantage in your core. And, I mean, it's a withering advantage, though, because we've got a plan B in the shape of a crit squeak on Oppie.
Yeah, they need to go fast here to keep any sort of advantage. It looks like they're going now in through 4. They want to take this gun down early. That's exactly what they do. Sending the soldier up to the height. But look at all these players on left. So much damage needs to come out. That kill on Fancy really opens things up here now. Just need to keep your scouts alive and fighting here. But it's good rockets from Hordes. However, as I say this, the scouts come in. They clean up. And it's 2 rounds for 4 fence. The underdog team just looking so dominant.
Man, that was a strong diff, like, at that last point. The QB kind of manning up, killing Boulder on that heavy weapons guy. It kind of looked like solo on my screen, but also Rougeman very decisively finding the pick onto Fancy. Kind of uncharacteristic for him to die on the last point like that, so very nice by him. And yeah, they've got their cushion, as I like to think of it. 2 rounds. Count them. Can it be a third?
Things can change ever so fast. We saw how fast that first round went for 4 fence, and it could go the way of MANDEM here as they do that aggressive mid, but these bombs not effective onto Upi this time. It's looking bad for the side of 4 fence, and it looks like it's just going to have to be them leaving here because they have absolutely 0 space to play with.
Man, Deli just pieced out of that bit pretty quickly, didn't he? He was just
Mula dies to Haunts.
What? Huh?
In upper IT, he just died to Haunts. Haunts got in aggressively, manages to get Mula, and now this is so good for them.
Yeah, and they're running back. They're trying to find the safety of their mid to, like, just recollect themselves and keep eyes everywhere. But they haven't kept one eye on this soldier. RP has to do the surf away. Pretty low, though. It's kind of scary. It wants to kind of man it out with a team. Fancy goes down, and they're going to keep going in. They miss the crossbow onto Lardux. Lardux doesn't need it. Gets a health pack. No, it's not a health pack. It's actually there waiting in its arms, and Haunts comes back in. It says second mid-fight.
It was such a desperate fight there, right? The Frenchies just wanted to get something there, delay things as long as possible, and that's exactly what they've done. Unfortunately, weren't able to take down Uber, so still going to be that full Uber advantage for the side of
no,
MANDEM.
the
They're
trap.
coming in through IT. Are they aware of it? Are they aware of this trap? No, not able to get anything. So
Oh my
close,
god.
though.
Keep calm and the bomb won't explode, he says. He manages to defuse that last second, and now they have an Uber charge. They have some control and footing. They're making their way into last. They've got their Uber charge. They're spamming down the sentry gun eventually, and now it's time to see if they can find any other player. The soldiers jumping for all the MANDEM players, but they're not playing the point. They're trying to play the players, but the players are fine off 4 fence. They're so tanky, Steven.
Yeah, they just could not get in, right? Those soldier bombs look so good, and I thought they might get something. This might get something. Oh, that was ever so close to getting Mula. Just plenty hell. But yeah, as you said, Deli, he's always there. It looked kind of nice, though. As I was saying, they kind of got those bombs in aggressively up top, but they got the Uber, they got the Putis out, and they just defended so well. And now look at this. They're able to come in mid, but Mula sniped down by Pandemic in the forward spawn. Rookie mistakes.
Damn, this game is ramping up. There were players just coming out of the ears at this point, and they're feeling it a bit on both teams. They're not chickening out here. Haunts has managed to find a pick onto Boojman, who was overextending themselves. They cap the mid, but they lose the goal over on poor 4 fence, and now they have to scramble. There's an Uber charge.
So I was just going to say, they've looked okay on the back foot so far, but can they do it once more? It feels like it's such a hard task for them to keep having these miracle defenses here, and the Uber disadvantage even bigger this time. It looks like if they do go back to last turn, that's exactly what's happening. They're not going to get this Uber during this fight.
The defenses on 4 fence have been quite impressive, so I'm very excited to see how they have adapted over on MANDEM, what they're going to do differently. They're pushing in, they're going from rollout. Can't quite get on top of the heavy weapons guy. Will rotate to scout, and now they box them in, but they just rotate around the doors, and those stickies, they're just delaying any sort of cap point that they can pressure on, and Demo's going to come back to the world of living soon. They're getting a good collapse though, but the scouts come back. The Uber charges here. They took so long that the safety net has fired. Oh, what a fight for Bill! Oh my days! Undo. That's what he does. Control Z. He just made that sort of kind of damning defense look a little less damning.
That triple air shot there, that was crazy by Fancy. Looked like he was doomed there completely, but managed to take him out. But things have kind of calmed down here. They kind of reset a little bit. And actually, if we look at this situation, this is awful for MANDEM. The Ubers are equal. They need to push into last. And this is basically their last real attempt. So they need to start getting something aggressive here if they want any chance of staying in contention of this map.
Steven, I've got a philosophical question for you. You can either hit pipes like that but lose the game, or you can win the game and not hit pipes like that. What do you even pick? Because
I'm always winning the game.
I'm always winning the pipes. How are you two?
No, but look, that's really nice for him to get that sentry down early here, and now it's going to be an Uber trade straight away into this last point. They do manage to get a level 1 up, but not really doing anything with this.
This level 1 is a warrior. He's a lot dead now, but they've managed to take over the most of right side. They've got stickies on the point. Boulder's trying to inch it with a knife edge, of hoping to get some cap time. Trying to clear the point, finally get some scouts there now, but they're pressuring out all these sort of stragglers that are going across the line, across the point to kind of get these plays going, but they're wasting so much time playing the point that they're not being supported here, Steven. And now 4 fence get to kind of play off that, and they're pushing out successfully.
Yeah, they went for that aggressive play that I said they had to make. They get the sentry gun down early. They go for the aggressive trade, but it's just not a good trade in the end of things here, and they end up dropping the entire team here. And now with just a few minutes remaining, it's going to be mid capped up by 4 fence. They're going to have that Uber advantage here. And do they really have any reason to push out here if you are 4 fence?
Mula did not appreciate me saying Oppie was just another level. This is this win rate. I think like she's having kind of a rougher game than usual. Maybe it's just because it's like a single death and it's like, oh no, Oppie, this is the worst game ever. But yeah, it's showing some vulnerability, some weakness. A nice Uber in right on top of Oppie. just Caster's Curse and will all even finish off Full Armor. You're not even safe in the sky. Pandemic is mad, and he's going to be sent to the spawn map. And Bill, the last one to survive, will be the last one to die.
Yeah, they are just making any attempt to try to get things going here, but they're not thriving in this chaos that they might usually do. Forfeits are just being an absolute wall here, and they are just absolutely absorbing the attacks of MANDEM. They're on last here. It's just a soldier trying to do anything, but Nevo is absolutely destroying them here. However, spawners come in here. It's a bit of a difficult fight as QB and Mula both go down here. It should be a defense here for MANDEM, but then they really do too much for this. They do basically get a wipe, though. It's not bad if you want to try to get something done, but 2 minutes remaining. Right.
I will give bonus points to Mula there. He wanted to kind of aggro the rest of MANDEM during that last push, so he just kind of got onto the point. It was like, right, shoot me, I will die for the cause. But the cause was lacking, they just didn't have the same sort of buffs, and the 2v2 scout situation just ended up being a MANDEM way. This is very back and forth, so back and forth that they've got a Kritzkrieg in all of this chaos. I'm not sure if that was just a desperate... Oh, the crits onto Mula, and yeah, the equalizing trap as well. What a chaotic game energy. Back caps or front caps? Demals on Spy. The QB's already on Engineer. Hornster's not even addressing it. Oh, embarrassing situations. What a final 30 seconds of this round.
Yeah, that was interesting to say the least there, but they managed to get that round. They managed to keep themselves in it as well. It might have been a bit of a mistake giving this the momentum. I feel like if Forfeits just kind of kept them in that state of perpetually trying to go for something, clinching on to any sort of hope, it might have been better going into this next map. But we've had the GG's called, and it should be a 2-1 for Forfeits, as it's, I think, just about possible, but the Forfeits side are not going to let the aggression happen, and it's Delhi getting the pick on the Fancy. Absolutely no chance here, but goes to a 2-1. Could have been a 2-0 here for the side of Forfeits. Yeah, they looked good during all of that. I think those last risky plays were obviously why it was a 2-1, but I think the Frenchies look just so good.
I'm not going to lie here, Stephen. Usually when I'm casting, I'm lying to you in a small way. Usually when these teams have these final moments where they get a round in or this stuff, and they're like, oh, they just want to get a positive energy for the next map, copium. But I genuinely believe like this sort of like kind of flicker or spark or energy and kind of hype plays might do the world of good for MANDEM there, because it did look like they were choking for a large majority of that map, and then until this little spark at the end, oh, I'm back in, baby.
Yeah, it gives that tiny little something, right, to want to make you keep playing, to want to make you go into this next map feeling a little more positive. You're like, okay, guys, the map didn't go our way for the most part, but we got that one round. Surely we can make a miracle happen and get this second one here. But as you said, that did feel like a bit of a choke fest, and maybe this is a bit of the old MANDEM that we're used to seeing here. The Frenchies are going to be feeling good about that one, and I don't expect them to play much worse, because they've been playing out of their mind so far.
I am slamming straight to the logs. I am polluting the logs.tf servers, and I'm already assaulting by damage. And wouldn't you know, Fancy's actually sitting at the top. Who knew? If you hit all those pipes, you get damage for them.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you hit all the damage if your medic is dying, though, right? I guess Mula actually died more. No, I'm looking at the wrong. It was Upi.
No,
I always look at it
wrong.
I always look at it sit somehow. No, it's actually Upi dying the most. So yeah, if your medic is dying twice as much.
Double deaths. I'm gonna outlie it there. Don't call it any less than it needs to be. This is a bad situation. Usually the medic sort of stats are kind of an indicator of like overall team health and how things are going. And let's be certain, Oppie is not just dropping willy-nilly. This is a bad sign, at least for that process map. It's an overall sort of kind of team function of like how these plays are going off and how it's going wrong. And credit to Mula. I spend a small little minute kind of congratulating Oppie on like what a wonderful sort of medic she is, and Mula got jealous and he just kind of turned it up a notch.
Yeah, he's been playing a really, really good game, but he couldn't play that game without Nevo there, only dying 5 times. It's one of my favorite stats to look at. It's how close your medic and pocket scout deaths are to one another. Because basically, the only time your medic is dying is if your pocket scout's dead. Because Nevo and Mula are just going to be playing as a cohesive unit. And I feel like a lot of the time, it's that cohesive unit. You keep those advantages, or you don't make yourself in a disadvantaged position that kind of keeps you in those games. And it was back against the wall a couple times with Forfeits on those last points. But they did a good job of staying together. And I think both Nevo and QB at times as well were getting Mula out of those bad positions here. So you got to give credit where credit is due to these scouts for doing a great job of playing around Mula.
Okay, I've heard of credit is due, but where's the hate and the hate is due? Where is the player that's going the wrong the most here, Stephen? Who do you want to pick on? Who do you want to make enemies with tonight?
Who died early every fight? But I'm going to blame Boulder. I think he's got a bit too confident. I think those first 2 mids, it was him dying first, and they lost those first 2 mids because he died first. Maybe it was, the Frenchies knew they had to focus fire him, but I feel like he needed to play a little bit more respectful. Maybe he's playing with a little too much confidence and needs to tone it back, but it's a double-edged sword, right?
You know what? I like it. Pretty based sort of pick, but I think there's some credence to your words here. It's very easy, very tempting to kind of just pick the soldier classes in these situations where you're like losing mids and you're like, oh no, and now you're back at last and you have to like suicide and deal and block this point and you're like, oh no, more bad stats. But I don't think this is the usual Boulder we're used to seeing.
I mean, he was still doing big damage and stuff, right? But yeah, maybe just playing a little out of his lane here. But it was so hard, to be honest, to pick anyone. I was trying to think of mistakes I saw from anyone else, but to be honest, they were pretty solid throughout. It was only small mistakes kind of on those mids and slight ones on pushes or with their Uber just not getting what they wanted to. Other than that, both teams playing at a really good level.
All right, Stephen, I've got you a little treat. Now we've got our second map. It's going to be Granary, and I can guarantee you one team that picked the first map did not pick this second map. So in theory, that other team should be feeling pretty happy. Who that other team is that picked that Granary, I don't know that information, but this is what makes it fun and exciting, Twitch chat. If I could run a poll, I would. But I'm starting to believe that when you see that sort of kind of capital gameplay from Forfeits, maybe that was their map pick. Or if you're over on MANDEM now, you sure hope that was their map pick. Because if this is their map pick for Forfeits, then oh dear.
Yeah, we could be in for a rough one here. I'm just looking back at the scores of the recent games to try to gauge where they might be on this. And it's looking like MANDEM have felt very comfortable on that process map. Their most recent game against New Panzer was a 4-1 victory on that map. And obviously that was a complete switch of situation in this one. Forfeits beat New Panzer recently on it, but it was only a 1-0. So I'm not sure if it's exactly, the map they might want to play. Actually, I take it back. It's definitely Forfeits' map. They 5-0'd Skedder on it in the lower bracket game yesterday. So yeah, this looks like it's the Frenchies' pick here as well.
All right, well, okay, Stephen. So you're in the MANDEM locker room right now. They're feeling a bit down. I mean, there's some things they've got excited about, but they're coming back with broken legs and broken hearts. What do you say to this team to kind of like pick up the slack a bit and get back into the game?
Kill Mula. I think it's going to be your number one thing here. I felt like sometimes they wanted to go for those aggressive mids and just weren't really able to get Mula, but then on the other side of things, you have to protect Upi as well. So it's a little bit difficult to come up with an exact strat here, but I think they just need to play their own game. They need to play how we've seen them play at their peaks here, and they need to play their best, reset their mentors, and not have in the back of their minds what we're all thinking that could this be another MANDEM choke? They need to make sure that they're feeling confident.
I like your game plan. I would maybe add some asterisks about don't try and protect Uppy at the same time. I feel like it's just too monumental of a task, perhaps, in these sorts of situations. Just maybe, I don't know, this is a low caster brain, but it's just because I want to see it. But I think they were doing much better when they were getting a bit aggressive on process, and maybe that could bleed a little bit into the Granary. Maybe still feel it out for the first mid, but I think it's looking like, you're just going to have to dogpile on Mula and then just hope that Oppie, pulls out a Prem miracle that she's usually, used to known for. So let's see. Otherwise, it's going to be an interesting game just on the back and forth as well.
I'm saying what I was saying is on the basis that I've seen this MANDEM roster play a mid where they 4-man sack in and just Boulder runs out the medic. And it's worked a scary amount of times, to be honest. I would expect Forfence knows this and have some sort of game plan against it to kind of bunker against that 4-man here. But yeah, you need to be careful of it because it's a known mid that they do.
This is a suspicious amount of time that these players are taking. It makes me wonder if they're listening in right now and they're taking our words. Oh, there we go. Look at that. I knew your game plan, players. Well, if you're just joining us, this is the grand finale of our ETF2L 6v6 Autumn 2024 Season 48. It's map 2 out of 3, potentially Forfence walking away with the gold here, Stephen. But what are they walking away with on mid?
Yeah, we'll see how they start things. It's a good trap-off by Fancy here, but it's the aggression coming out from Forfence first, so they are taking their time, and it's good for the side of MANDEM as they get a first pick on Demul here. Bombs coming in deep as well from the soldiers, not able to get much, and now things are turning the way of Forfence, but their health is miserable on the side of Forfence, and they're on the back foot, and it is the MANDEM side sitting pretty on this point, but surely there's going to be a refight coming as they are that player up on the side of Forfence. Big bombs coming in here from Brugman. Makes a bit of space. Manages to take down Fancy here. Does lose his life. However, they just get to focus down the players with the scouts here. And it looks like they have to run things away. But Uber is popped actually on both sides. Huge clutch up from Mula to manage to save up the Delhi here. Keeps him in the fight once more and sends MANDEM packing back to this second point.
Oh my god, my brother in harm. My Bruder. Oh, he just saved him from the clutches of evil, that evil red Uber, and yeah, now there's nothing really done with that Uber. They're already pushing into this yard, pushing in the the left-hand side, hoping that they can just kind of collapse this yard defense, but they rotate successfully. You don't see that every day, so they managed to keep away that sort of rush into Lunchbox, and now they were back on mid, and we're back to even Ubers, importantly.
Yeah, it was a decent attempt, right, to try to get something before things were really set up, but unfortunately Brugman just focused down that little bit too much. Even a nice arrow from Mula mid-air couldn't keep him alive, but now this does allow Demul to come up on this sniper class. It's difficult, because I feel like it's quite easy for the medic to stay out of the sight lines on this map, so it's kind of on this first shot to get something happening here. So all eyes on Demul.
If he's getting a medic pick, there's something gone terribly wrong in in this map, because usually here you're kind of going for second pickings. That's scouts, soldiers, just anywhere they can find this initial line that he's drawing. Brugman does go down, which is annoying, but not the worst in the world. But they trade out for Boulder. Demul is just going to keep fishing between these two different lines, just finding for any sort of scout or soldier pick. And the fact that neither goes down is kind of annoying and really bad, because now you've got no sort of anti-air for your team.
Haunts looked like he wanted to set up for a bomb there and go in aggressively, tried to get something, but thought better of it. Knew these players were coming up and it was maybe going to be a little too risky for them to go for that play. But now we do have Upi playing close with these spam classes, just makes it even more difficult to try to get in on this sniper as he is peeking in on this ramp, trying to find something, but these players are so hard on this map. How long do you go before you try something else? They do try something else. It's Brugman going in from an unchecked choke area, but now they're basically two down with this sniper up on the field. If they wanted to go for something they would have already on MANDEM, they're just going to push it back here and have to be desperately building, as now it's that huge Uber advantage for the side of Forfence.
I think they're a little scared over on MANDEM. My calculating brain is telling me that once they get a pick onto Brugman and pushing in, it's really hard to kind of counter snipe on if you're Demul and people are entering in, because of those tall crates. You kind of cut off for like 75% of the viewpoint, but they've managed to get into yard basically for free, and they've Ubered in around the corner. Just want to get proactive. This is kind of a trade of Uber situations. Obviously they didn't have an Uber over on Oppie, so it's kind of just a gimme. And now that you have the Uber, do you even push out?
Yeah, I was thinking, are they going to respect this, or are they going to try to push here? They are taking a lot of aggression on this left-hand side. They do have, the full cookie cutter roster lineup. So no sniper, no gun. So it looks good to try to push in, and a pick onto Brugman should open things up nicely for this MANDEM side. Uber not really building super quickly on the side of the Frenchies here. So MANDEM gonna be taking this second point for free. Should be able to take Yard for free, as there's basically no resistance there either.
Yeah, they were really hoping to kind of force them at the door and then just get out swiftly, but it's just too risky to contest the point that close when Boulder could just, run over you with an Uber charge. So they play it safe and they play it calm over on the side of 4 fence. They have their Uber charge now, so it can go back to more traditional granary gameplay, but so far Demol has been kind of coming up with nothing, and because it's a hard point for a sniper.
Goes for the hero peek there. Couldn't find anything in through choke, but keeps his life for now. But I think we're having a bit of deja vu here. They need to be a little bit more aware of that play that could come in through choke, and I think Fancy's going to have that on lock here, but all eyes need to be on the move.
Oh,
as he goes for something. Yeah, Haunts goes down. Is it an Uber trade coming out? It absolutely is here, and it's not looking great for either side.
I mean, it could have gone a lot worse for fence, because they had a majority of that Uber spent on the sniper, and I don't know what Demon's going to do apart from stand there and look pretty. So now there's Uber's out of the equation. 4 fence are just kind of teetering at the door. They still have the sniper, so they can't really play with any sort of soldier gameplay, but the Yard is already kind of given up already. Oh, nice little crossbow to save Brugman there from Lardux, and with Lardux overextending, but QB also dies as well, but I think he made a lot of space for his team in this second point, so the second point has to be given up as well as on top of everything, and we seem to find ourselves at last, and look, they've already got a sniper on from 4 fence.
Yeah, so they can start getting aggressive, but Deli needs to be careful. It's a bomb in from Brugman, unable to get anything here, but they look reasonably safe on the rest of the Frenchies here. Need to be aware of anyone going for funny business. Is Haunts up top here? He's going to make his way into Lunchbox, actually, and there's no one to really contest it.
Yeah, again, lacking a soldier, lacking that door control, but Sniper is still a very, very, very nice player. He's going for the hero pick and won't find it. I think he's tired of playing the Sniper class, so he will rotate off, and maybe it gives opportunity for other off classes, but I can just see him coming back as soldier and not even the scouts making the trip back.
Yeah, I think on recent Granary games, we've kind of seen the meta evolving to just go for a 3-man sack here. Honestly, you send your demo man aggressively and you send at least one soldier in with that as well, and it's still so hard to push into this second point and keep it as well. It feels like there's a lot more opportunity to kind of push in, and it's just QB changing onto the sniper class, so we were completely wrong, Turbo.
Man, that's takes a lot of hubris for Demo to be like, okay, buddy, you're feeling the sniper class, you have a crack. Let's see if you can pull it off.
Yeah, I don't really understand why you would keep this. Maybe QB is just feeling himself. Obviously, the scout player would usually be the one who snipes, but Demule has been a player who's super, super solid on it. But we'll see what QB wants to do up top here. Just waiting for anyone to peek. He finds a soldier. It's a 150, but that's all he's going to get from that. And now they know that there's still a sniper up on the board, right? You know that you still have to worry about it. It's going to be so much harder to get these positions.
Yeah, and you're not surprising MANDEM as well. They're one of the more prolific teams when it comes to clash checking in this game. So, I again, not really quite sure why they had the little switch up. But let's see if QB can come out clutch. But it is still an annoying point, even though Sniper is very volatile on last. It's just these doors, they're either tiny or they shut.
Yeah, I think you need to give your energy here to QB if he's going to get anything, but it's just a bomb in aggressively from Delhi. He does get the sentry gun, but goes down. Demule also dying to a snipe from Boulder here, so it's a 2-man pick. No Uber used from Upi as well, so now if they want to try to go in for something, this is the situation. It's Fancy opening these shutters, tempting the sniper shot to come out, but it's QB finding a pick onto Haunts.
Well, that's annoying and debilitating. They built the sentry gun, however, so Pandemic should be up and running for the rest of the team. It's just a level 1 though. Nevo toying with the idea of maybe coming in on this right-hand door, but they have it back on lockdown. We're going for a reset. We're rotating around again. We're really kiting this sniper around a lot, but it's cost a lot of resources and risk. And now, is this enough risk? There's put out a lot of damage as well, forcing them out to second point. But I don't think they want to push out here. They're looking at the clock.
Yeah, things are ticking down. About 2 minutes remaining. Surely QB switches off this sniper. Just wasn't able to get the angles. That's exactly what happens here. They want to be sending in the sacks here. They want to be doing something funny, something different. Because this Mandem side is expecting this sniper. Boulder off class checking and spawn as well. So it's going to know they're back onto this cookie cutter kind of class setup here. There's a soldier sitting up on top. They need to be careful of those rogue types coming in from Fancy.
Let's see.
Set up. Oh no.
Yeah,
He's just blasted away before he can even jump.
Yeah,
he's just absolutely decimated the poor man.
Yeah, they're just holding really close to the door. I like the idea. They obviously wanted one man is sentry man and one man is like kill man. But if you can just nip it at the bud right at the doorway, it's really awkward and annoying. So they're gonna have to get a bit more creative here. They can't just keep brute forcing this. I mean, usually you would have the stats on your side, and eventually, if you just roll that dice enough, it would work out. But now you're rolling against the clock, and the clock says 40 seconds.
Yeah, I just don't think he's really been able to get. They've been able to get anything started, so they decide to go for this aggressive Uber use here. However, Ubi on the side of Mandem didn't even have
that was
to
an
use
Uber.
Here. So yeah, that was an Uber of all time, surely.
That was the most Uber.
And now they're not even going to get Uber as there's only 30 seconds left on this round timer here for the side of Forfence. So we might just see things stalemating out here unless they want to go for something very aggressive on the side of Manda. But they've got a heavy. Why would you do anything here?
Yeah, so we're going to go to a round reset. And it's such a while ago, actually, that these mids happened. It escapes me who won the first mid. I think it was a pretty close... Oh yeah, it was a close affair, wasn't it? It was Forfence just managing to scrape it back. So we'll see if they've made some adjustments over on Mandem. And Forfence, maybe they can kind of throw a wrench into the works and just nullify that and just come up with something fresh for this new mid.
Yeah, I feel like Forfence have been struggling when they need to kind of break these holds of Mandem. They've been really good at kind of rushing these things into last, and that kind of feels like it's their win condition, right? It's to essentially get a wipe on Mandem if they really want to do anything here. The last mid, they played it passively, they played it kind of chill. They did win the mid out on Forfence, but struggled to really get into the game of last.
Fancy brought down really low at the start, and already Brugman is jumping across. He's not focusing Fancy, however, but they focus on the other healthy classes that kind of kite them, bottle them, and eat them. And God, they can't even escape as well when they realize that shit has hit the fan. Just not really coordinated in that sort of early weakness from Forfence.
Yeah, there was a lot of damage going on to those scouts trying desperately to find anything on the side of Forfence, but they absolutely crumbled.
Oh my God, they're knocking.
And now they're on last. Yeah, you couldn't be closer. They're having a bit of trick or treat here. They're trying to see if they can get some candy out of the side of Forfence. all the candy they'll get is a force, though.
Pandemic, cap quicker, we're losing. But they've quick credit though, they are managed to keep them held out at the door. There's only 2 player combat classes left. QB is going to have to dig deep. Muller is getting in on the action as well, but he's one little scout in a very red world. The first round, and it is a heartbreaker of a situation to be landed in. We'll go to Mandem.
Yeah, all you need is just to wipe them on mid. Simply do that again, and like you just win the game, basically, right? But Forfence need to go back to the drawing board because that mid was demonstrably bad. It was absolutely awful for them. Completely wiped. Not a single player goes down from Mandem. They get onto your last, they get into your spawn door, and you just can't get out. You do get an Uber Force, but that's it. That's all you're going to get out of that team. And they just played it clinically on the side of Mandem, and now they kind of know a weakness on this Forfence side. We'll see if they can make this mid happen once more.
Delhi deciding to roll out top this time, and Brugman playing a lot more conserved. He's actually going for the sort of flank fighter, but will lose out to Haunts on top of that. And Delhi going into the jugular, hoping to lay out some damage as well, finds absolutely butt kiss. And the only happy sailing story is Muller did get out this time.
Yeah, they have to be careful because the side of Mandem, they do like to keep playing this aggressively and like to go for these picks, but this time it looks like actually they're going to chill for a minute. They know these spawns are coming up any second now, and they feel maybe a little more comfortable at going for these stats.
The trap?
Ooh, yeah,
oh, they're checking. Careful. That's good. QB is on the case, so this trap from Bill will not do too much work.
What are they doing? They're going so aggressive on the fourth
Oh my
side. They're
God.
losing 2 here. They might even lose Delhi if they're not careful. An interesting play here from Forfence. They wanted to try to come in before the spawners came, but they lose 2, and now this gives a great opportunity for the side of Mandem to come in through this left-hand side. Lose Haunts early, however, gain a lot of space on the left.
It's a boulder solo, so he's trying to make everyone multi as much as possible, and they're going to bring in the rest of the players now. They are lacking one Haunts because he got picked off on the other side of things, and they decide it's just not good and decide to back out over on Mandem, but such a price has been paid. Fancy will go down. No Demo Man. Pick a door, any door, Stephen. It's yours.
There's a soldier in behind as well for Mandem, making a little bit of trouble. Scout up top as well, so they want to keep fighting this as they are getting players, and they are getting a pick onto Dabu here. It's a trade, but the trade is good enough to send them back to last. However, Forfence want to refight, get that pick onto the soldier once more, but it's trading 1-for-1 constantly.
These scouts, they're just very, very, very good at the video game. They're managing to find the clicks onto the people, and I don't know, it's just that sort of scout world where you're living in, where you're a soldier, you're playing close combat, you think you should win this, you're damaging yourself, and the scout is damaging you. Such is life. And yeah, they just pick off these players one by one. QB, man mode, a scout MGE, and he has a soldier MG, and will lose out to that one, however. And Forfence, they spent a lot of time kind of wasted there. I think QB definitely wanted to go in, but the rest of Forfence wanted to get out.
Yeah, they were just kind of trapped off by Fancy there, unable to really get in and get anything started, and lose 2 for it as well. These spawners still taking a while to come up, and they're going to want to try to get something going on the side of Mandem here. They are going to be trying to take something from out top.
Yeah, Lardox challenging Brugman, will be knocked down from his pedestal, and actually he was trying to go for the jump in onto Moolah, but the body block from the scouts and soldier will keep Moolah safe, and with one less soldier, maybe they're just happy to hold on to this point and not even think about a counter.
Yeah, you're going to want to just kind of relax here a little bit. Delhi needs to be a bit careful that he doesn't just get free shot by the scout there as well while he's setting up his traps here. But they're going to stay cookie cutter a little bit. And we've seen this point fall relatively easily when you have that double soldier from up top while you have a lot of spam coming out from these demo men. Fancy likes to kind of send the stickies all the way behind, though.
Oh, I'm seeing him. He's hitting. He's getting 3 in the successful spot. Oh, he clears them. Fancy. Boo.
Yeah, I mean, he does this every game, though. It's kind of a known thing. It was good the first few times that he pulled it out, but now the scouts know, and now they've lost 2 on the side of Mandem trying to get something happening. Surely Forfence take this aggression now.
Yeah, Haunts is holding kind of close and will be sniffed out, has to back off, and they've claimed right yard, but Forfence don't know what to do with it. Just kind of hanging out. Fancy finds the stray pick onto QB at the doorway, and this has got to put a bit of fear in the hearts of Forfence, especially. Oh, Moolah's been forced as well. Fancy manages to cut him off from his exit way from the ramp room, and from lunchbox, I should say. And yeah, an Uber just gone like that.
Yeah, really good heads-up play from Fancy. He gets that initial pick onto the scout, and then just knows he has free reign to send some spam onto the retreating Forfence players. Forces things out, and it's worth losing his life for that one as they keep this 100% Uber advantage. Send Forfence straight back to last. Now it's going to be an Uber advantage push, but they should be waiting for their demo man to come back here, and he's not coming in particularly fast. Already 60% on Moolah. We might.
Oh, they want to go without him.
Nah, yeah, he's coming in now.
Okay. There we go. He is the first one in. He will clean up the sentry gun really quickly, and already getting cap time. So much cap time. So much cap time. And yeah, this is definitely not processed. They can most certainly play the point quicker than they can on their process map. It is 2-0. They now have a cushion here, Steven.
It's the classic thing of you got to know which soldier's blocking first here, guys. Who's going to jump onto this point to defend thing? And it's no one there as they just get so much cap time. And that's sometimes what Boulder just does. He'll just stand on the point here. Don't need to go for those aggressive, flashy plays. If you can, just cap things out. And it's a 2-0 lead here for Mandem. So it's a complete opposite of what we saw last map. And we'll see if they can take it any further or if Forfence have something to say about it.
They're a lost soul at Forfence on this mid. I'm kind of curious to see what they have in the tank at this point, because it seems everything they're trying is just coming up and failing. And now they're just playing very patiently. They're not even instigating fight. They are just letting Mandem come to them, and Mandem don't want to go.
No, there's no reason to really do too much here. They're just kind of playing this slow, methodical spam game. There were soldiers in fighting in the back, and it's a 1-for-1 trade in the end of things. But these teams, they're playing it so passive. They're trying to find anything here. That second pick of Jamul might be what they need to try to push things forward here. On the side of MANDEM, taking down QB as well. Surely this is a one mid-fight for the MANDEM side. And they play that very well, actually. We've seen, you know, a bit of focus happen before.
No.
And it's a big bomb in onto Mula. He's in such an awkward situation. No, if anyone came in through choke here, Mula would be a dead man, but looks like no one was ready in that position here.
Yeah,
keeps his life.
MANDEM are playing conservative. They don't want to throw. They don't want to lose. And it is very fortunate that they are winning at this very instant. But yeah, very, very, very calm gameplay from MANDEM. As for Forfence, it looked like nobody was on the same page that mid. I think Demor wanted to get aggressive, but the rest of Forfence still wanted to play it a bit more cool and relaxed. Demor was very much committed, but they just didn't want to commit in with him. Maybe just not a big believer, and it also complicated things as well because Brugman got a trade in that stead as well, so it wasn't even like they could decide whether to, you know, if it's yay or nay. It was just like even, so awkward between both of these teams. But we do get to a yard hold, and this is going to be a very happy situation for MANDEM because this is slowing down the game with 9 minutes left.
Yeah, absolutely. They don't have to go in on anything other than, you know, play here. It's actually, as I say, like Hawks jumps in, wants to go for an off-timing sack here, but this is just never enough to really push in, and this might even eke out someone to push in a little more aggressive because they are backed against the wall here on Forfence. They are those 2 rounds down. They need to kind of get something going now, or it's kind of never. So they need to try to go for these aggressive plays, but they want MANDEM to be the ones to make a mistake here, but there's no reason for them to.
Haunts is having a quick clash check. I mean, they're not too far from spawn over on Forfence, so it is possible, so why not just check? This is that prolific class checking I was talking about, so they know that nothing's afoot, and Forfence are sitting on the fence.
Yeah, and they're just not going to want to push, really, unless you get maybe 1-2 picks here. We'll see if they want to go for something on MANDEM, if they want to go aggressively for a choke point. They have been liking sending Horns. We did just see previously he likes to go for those off-timing plays a little bit where maybe you're not expecting that sack to come out here, or they just want to send a load of spam in through Fancy and just destroy someone with that. You get a soldier to bomb him, you maybe even get a force with it as well. And this is exactly what they're doing, just sending Fancy in through choke, keeping him nice and healthy and trying to find one kill.
Well, Horns is going to get decimated, but it's a decimating sort of situation for any roaming soldier. I've got the new latest copium if you want to take a quick hit for a second here, Stephen. Oh wait, they're making a push in, never mind. Let's put our copium tanks away as we make an Uber trade, and Nevo does drop Boulder out of it, so that's going to be a ray of light in an otherwise dark situation for Forfence, and because of that, they win the mid.
Yeah, this is all it takes sometimes, right? Is that one pick in that trade to send things back. They look like they had really good position on the side of MANDEM, but losing that pocket scout is just too much for them to want to try to stay in. But now it is on the side of Forfence to try to push into this yard area, and it's ever so difficult. And it's Brugman getting decimated.
No,
and Deli.
Deli, oh no, no, no. Well, just as quickly as, well, it wasn't lost quickly, it was actually painstakingly fought by Forfence, and they lose it extremely quickly. Demol even goes down in the translation from switching back to yard.
And now they're back to exactly where they were before, but now there's more time on that round timer clock here. So this just plays more and more into the side of MANDEM.
Yeah, they can't even realistically go for a round reset as well, because think about it. If they go for the round reset, they've got 1 minute and 40 seconds to cap out Granary against MANDEM as well. I'm pretty sure MANDEM would like leave mid if there was like an odd-looking smell.
Mula just got forced during all of this. Both of us completely missed it because we weren't expecting anything to happen, but the Frenchies now, it's that off-timing sack once more, right? That we just are not expecting from Hordes to come in aggressively, and now they're even more on the back foot as they are that uber disadvantaged situation. Demol is at drop down, has to be a hero.
Yeah, this is, you're playing Granary, but you're dreaming of Metalworks right now if you're on the side of Forfence. But who knows, they can go big and they can go home, and poor Demol trying to fish from the drop down area to go for a big play. It doesn't quite work out.
QB has to kind of stick around to maybe help his soldier to try and get out as well, and Boojman does find out of position Fancy in the Z, so with no demo man, maybe there is still some chances. Nevo getting aggressive, I like it. They even throw Deli in and he doesn't immediately die. I'm still liking it, still keep going for offense. They've managed to get in from the right side, they take the Uber exchange. In theory, this should go the way of MANDEM because they will have those respawners a bit better. And Nevo, he's finding nothing. He will get on top of some high ground, but now it's just the mid. Just close your eyes and pretend the cap points aren't even there. And they actually find Pandemic. They actually find the mid they were looking for. But a back cap, a ×1. It stresses nobody as they get the ×7 mid cap. And that soldier might as well be dead at this point. He's not going to do any sort of output.
Yeah, but you can't forget about Haunts in the back here. He's always going to be a pain. He's always going to make something and make it a little more difficult here. And this one time, this actually was a little scary once they had no one on the point. But you can always come in behind, right, and get that force, get onto Mula before they can really get in and just absolutely crush their dreams. But they're going to be aware that there's someone behind, there's someone who can do that damage here, and they want to hunt him down just that little bit. It's 2 soldiers in onto mid trying to find him.
Yeah, he's just hoovering up health packs and hoovering up time, and time is not on their side. We have no hopes of any sort of random resetting, but, you know, it was basically at that situation before. And Haunts, he's still caught behind, but they just opt to ignore him. Maybe QB's going to be patrolling, but maybe they could see this more as an opportunity. Oh, wait, no, Haunts goes down.
Yeah, this is really nice now. They're set up top as well to instantly go for this Uber. Gonna take it onto the sentry gun. Upi in absolutely no danger here. Is gonna pop so late. The Uber fades before Upi even has to use here. And that will be Deli drop. They still need to go in for this refight while there's no gun, but not able to take any real initial space here. These scouts on the high ground, soldiers as well. And what was looking like a decent opportunity with that one player pick is looking absolutely tragic.
They're surviving for a long time, though. The crossbows are coming out clutch. Haunts is coming in, though, with his trademark flank around and kill everyone, though. And, I mean, I'm going to give credit to Forfence. They survived way longer without a demo man into Granary last than I anticipated. And they had some decent things going. Some very nice crossbows from Mula. But it just goes to show how much of a force a demo man is needed on these last points.
Yeah, he needs to be able to either protect the point or trap down a spawn door. And once that doesn't happen, it just gives them the opportunity of that MANDEM side to kind of play on the heights and then just deny any soldier that wants to really come in and do anything. Demul lived for an incredibly long time with some arrows from Mula, though, so credit where credit's due.
Oh no, it's the Copium Krieg. It's hopefully crits can bail them out. Boulder does go down on the point, and this should be enough for MANDEM to just back out in good fashion. And with a crits Krieg, it could surprise and rock their world a bit. They should have it up relatively soon, and it's about that first sticky that's going to come out. It pops, it finds nothing, doesn't quite get the quick trigger finger on top of Uppy, and the Uber charge is like a swift rock against their very, very lame scissors.
Yeah, that was tragic, to say the least. That crit
Boojman's on last.
Absolutely nothing.
Boojman's not on last.
Boojman is in the respawn queue currently, as he does go down last there, and now keeping their medic alive, keeping Uber advantage, and with only 2 minutes left on the clock now, right, if you are the side of MANDEM, you just take any space you can for free, and as soon as that space does not look free, you just back out here. You don't need to take the risks. But they're doing so much damage. Lardox goes down, but will they decide to keep going in here? No. They just back out. They lose 2, and they know there is zero reason for them to be here anymore.
There was a little moment there where I seemed to craft a narrative of like, look, it's kind of like a mid again, and somehow they found that monkey off their back, and Forfence had a pretty convincing push and coordination in that little fight and affair, but it's just too little too late is the story of this granary for Forfence, and we're now in successful Garbo time, and I hope you like some scout clips, because I think these scouts are just going to run amok.
Yeah, they're just going to be running around, getting absolutely everything here. It feels like Forfence have been in the game, but never able to capitalize. They've just been struggling ever so much getting in and doing anything. Feels like every hold is just so strong for this MANDEM team when they have even Ubers. They're watching every door. They're locking down every single attempt that they even make on the front side. It feels like before Delhi can even get in to try to sack, it's Sticky's out from under his feet. He can't get in. A soldier is taken down to 100 HP before he can even jump in. Upi is just playing so far back to the Uber trades they want. Just don't even get MANDEM to use that Uber. And I think this has been kind of the story of the entire map, that they've just not been able to get anything started on the side of offense. So if this was their map, it's been a tragic map choice.
I'd love to be a fly on the wall on the MANDEM Mumble, because I feel like they have a good sort of overarching fix for everything. It looked like process was just a case of them losing themselves a bit. It was not really as tight gameplay as before, and now they're playing very tight, like as in very coordinated and cleanly, like to the point where one person goes down, it's a bad situation, and they all get out. And this sort of tightening is going to make it very hard for a dark horse kind of mix-up team like Forfence to get their rounds on the board. Because
Yes, they're feeling themselves now, right, man? Then we were a little worried that they were going to be in bad spirits after that first map, and after losing what we thought would be their map choice here. But they looked really good coming into that second map here, and we do have logs on screen, it looks like, and Fancy once again top damaging.
Yeah, I think MANDEM were just playing very solidly, but I would describe it as Forfence won process, but Forfence lost Granary, if you know what I mean by that. They had these, I would say, like very awful mids that were very throwy, and then MANDEM just punished them like extremely hard, like probably one of the harder Granary like shellackings. I don't know if that's a word, but like just a real sort of slamming punish on their part against Forfence. And yeah, I genuinely believe that it was kind of Forfence just losing their head about what they want to do with this Granary map. And fortunately, it is going to be a change of map. So, you know, maybe a change of map they can just kind of bin this whole idea about it, and, you know, maybe they can just get back into that process mindset.
Yeah, Metalworks, it's a new map here, but we have been looking at some stats on screen, and the one that jumped out to me is that Upi Ju died 0 times. 0 deaths on your medic is an insane stat here. We were talking so highly,
Sell the Moolah
on
stocks. Buy Upi stocks right now.
Oh no, it's tragic, right? When you can't get a single pick onto that medic, not on mid, you don't go for anything aggressive, you don't find any flank picks. It just means that Upi, she's now playing so well with Boulder, they've kind of got back into the rhythm of things, back into the groove, and your medic doesn't die once, you're going to be, it's going to be hard to get any rounds here.
Particularly wild when it comes to mid. But, you know, MANDEM do support this sort of style of fighting on mid for that. I don't think they really got aggressive, not a single time in any mids that we saw on Granary. And it probably helped that Forfence were kind of feeding for the first couple of rounds, and then they just took these like skirmishes that just ended in a trade and these flanks later on. So, and also they got out every time, like they just dropped a person, like every single time. So the dream medic game, in a theory, there was no sort of manning up, and I think they're trusting the fact that their fundamentals and their sort of game plan is so much more structured and better than Forfence. And I agree, they're playing to their strengths here, but I don't know if Forfence can find their strengths when they are just deciding to play in this sort of style.
Yeah, can they carry things coming into this second map of MANDEM now, or will they kind of become overconfident as we saw them on the first map here? It's been a bit of a double-edged sword, this confidence that MANDEM has had during this game, but after the performance we've just seen and just how some of these players played overall, I think it's going to be difficult to say anything but MANDEM should be favourites coming into this. Metalworks, though, how do you think this plays out towards how these teams have been playing? I was completely wrong on how I thought they were going to play it on the MANDEM side. I thought they were going to go for the aggressive mids. They didn't do that at all here. Do you think Metalworks is going to be any different?
No, I think they're going to play exactly the same. It's going to be the most boring book that you've ever read. It's just the same chapter over and over and over again, but you can't seem to put this book down. As for Forfence, I don't know. I mean, I would say it's a bit more favorable for jumpers. You can, the double jumps here are a bit more happy in Larry. You've got a lot more sort of Weasley areas to kind of fight and skirmish from. And also you can just do these sorts of styles of mid where you just push them out, you get the initial high ground on this midpoint and then just push them back in their valley area. So if you play, way too passive here, you can just lose the mid just like that. So my eyes are kind of turning on Brugman and Demel, and let me make this clear as well. They have not been disappointing, I would say, for Forfence. They have been. It's just the uncoordination of Forfence. I think they just maybe got a bit of the final jitters, especially in that Granary game when things were not going their way.
Yeah, they looked really coordinated on those first mids on process. So a little uncharacteristic that they weren't able to get that focus fire down that they'd previously been so good at. But may I remind you of there is a man in the server who has a jump named after him on this map. It's the Demel rollout. The Demel rollout? Sorry, the Brugman rollout. I completely butcher it here.
Demel with a hot new rollout. I can't wait to see it.
No, the Brugman rollout that's super fast, super aggressive here. Previously, when New Panzer played against MANDEM here, Fancy always went very aggressive and came in with about 50 HP coming into these mids. And if we do see Brugman go for that aggressive rollout and hit one rocket, it could be the mid over in just that singular rocket. So they need to be careful of this on the side of MANDEM, because if they're not aware that this comes out, which I expect them that they will,
they deserve to lose if they are not going to think they'd have to be just, I don't know, of traveling to the past or something for this to work out. But I don't know. Who knows? If he does it 5 times in a row now and he wins 5 mids, then I'm going to eat my shoe.
Right, Beta, you must have your cam on Brugman every single rollout. If he looks like he's going fast, please, thank you very much. Because I want to see if he can have any success.
By the way, it's not an easy shoe as well, so I'm feeling pretty confident. This is a pretty shoey shoe. It's a hard shoe to eat. So let's see.
We're talking proper leather shoe here.
Yeah, I can't afford leather. I'm a TF2 caster, so it's fake leather. It's George's finest for Mazda.
Oh, lovely. So yeah, it would definitely be a tough one.
But yeah, I'm more expecting in the line of like Haunts is going to fight some sort of soldier in like house or something, and then he'll win that, or he'll tie at the very least, and then they'll take it away from there. Forfence, I think, will have more of a should we, shouldn't we sort of kind of lesson or philosophical question on whether or not they should commit to mid. And then Demel, I think, will do just fine.
Yeah, I mean, they've had all this time to kind of talk through their mids. And I'm sure 0 of our predictions will come true here. Sometimes you get absolutely everything, and sometimes you get nothing. And I've got absolutely 0 predictions right thus far on this. So I'm not going to say anything, because otherwise I'm just going to give both teams the caster's curse somehow.
Well, players, I'm done with my tournament now. If you want to click your F4 buttons, I am ready. Are you ready, Stephen?
I am so ready for this. Yeah, our final map here. And it's been a closer one than I think a lot of people would have expected here. This MANDEM team, they've been kind of running through the entire bracket. They've been very dominant against that New Panzer team in the upper bracket final. And then coming into this, instantly losing a map to this Forfence side and then clinching it back with a strong looking 2-0. Looking to take this final map here. Give us your predictions, Turbo. I said I don't want to give predictions, but you know what? It's all part of the fun and games. Let's do predictions.
I think we're going to a golden cap.
Ooh.
I think these two teams are going to just butt heads, and they're not going to be able to crack faces. They're going to go to a golden cap. I don't think it'll go to a golden mid, and then man, it's going to be MANDEM. It's going to be MANDEM. I'm calling it. Stamp it, seal it, send it, post it, replay it. It's a MANDEM.
I don't know. Could the choke come in? We saw it possibly happening on that first map, and now the stakes are higher than they've kind of ever been for this MANDEM team. It feels ever so winnable for them. Just one more map, just one more thing to clinch away. But I think the Frenchies, they're going to hunger for this. They want this. And they've been prepared for this for so long. They've made this French super team And I think they're going to take it. You know what? I'm going to stick on the golden cap. I think it's going to be a 2-2 in regulation time, and it's going to be a nail-biter all the way till the end. But we are finally readying up. So enough of the tournament. It's time for the...
A producer barreled through my door and was like, oh, is Beta there? Is he dead? I thought you were aware and you were just putting out a fire quietly. All right, okay, well, all right then. So I guess while you discover the fire and now put out the fire and we have a paused gameplay, I mean, big ups to the teams for noticing that the stream went down, or this is the most beneficial pause that's ever happened in TF2.
Yeah, really nice from them to pause things. We are back up and running though, so sorry for the disconnect here, guys. Some tech issues. We've been absolutely rambling about how nice of a mid it was, how they managed to collapse.
Oh my god,
really
they've got
well.
paused as well. They are feeding on the stream. And the crits creek hasn't come out. They've actually just cleaning up regular kills, you know, just finding the frags from where they can find them. And now they have this, it's the regular medic gun. It's been picked up. They don't want this crits creek anymore. It's a full fat discard.
It's going to be such a small Uber advantage though, right? With the medical Moolah coming up, but they do allow them to take 2nd to 3 here. They think they have that full Uber advantage, but it's just not working. Well, it's not working. They don't have it, so they're not going to be able to push instantly into last hit. It's going to give time for things to even up on the side of Forfence here. They should just build up this Uber, get a nice last defense. They already have a pyro, disgusting stuff happening.
Yeah, they're going to think that there's going to be some slight BM maybe, you know, where they have a full Uber. Why are they not pushing in? And they're like, oh my god, are they really going to grind us to the absolute, you know, null here and just keep us on last forever?
I think we should see some pretty proactive stacks. It looks like Haunt and Lardox both set up to jump in here. Just need to spot things out. It's Haunt going for an aggressive jump onto this soldier, trying to make something happen. However, he is going to lose his life. Lardox is deep in as well. Oh, does he escape there on 8 HP? Oh, Jesus, that's close.
Damn. 2 soldiers on the other side of the worlds, all running around with the same sort of HP. The HP warriors will live, and let's see what they do on the counter over. Oh, no, Forfeds aren't pushing out. I will take my swift camera back to last, and we will see what else that the rest of MANDEM can come up with.
Yeah, not much of a reason for them to really push out on that one. Only the one pick is never really going to be enough. Maybe you can send your sniper a little more aggressive than they did to try to find something, but usually you just see them positioned outside the walls. It is Haunt with a little parachute here, so we should be seeing someone go in high in the sky here. And they've played this so aggressively so far on the side of MANDEM, going for these sacks, trying to get things working. So they are going to give us a game. They are going to give us something entertaining here, but they need to kind of find a doorway to go in on. They're having a little strat talk, talking about what they want to do here.
I don't know.
Going for this light bomb.
Yeah, but he could get shot out by the sentry gun. But he's trying to spam it, but he's just one put. Moolah anti-air gun. He actually takes out Haunts in the sky, and yeah, that's the downplay of having a soldier in the sky. It's a soldier, a singular soldier.
I feel like you need some spam from that left side as well, right? At least to take some eyes, make a little bit of the pressure, and then maybe get a sticky onto the gun or keep the engineer away is really the only way you're going to be able to get that gun. Otherwise, the engineer just quite happily swing away his Jag. Yeah, it just stays healthy, but it was a good attempt. It's something we haven't seen too much before, but they switched it up now. It's going to be pandemic sniping.
Yeah, I agree with you that they need to take out the sentry gun. I don't think they should use the parachute to take out the sentry gun, though. It's kind of, I don't know, that's the thing that counters the parachute. Why would you spend, but you could kind of counter it by just wasting its parachute, I suppose. So I don't really see the value in throwing in Haunts like that, but it's fine. In the meantime, they've got many times to try it, because they have to give up a mighty amount of players, I think, for Forfence to push out here.
Yeah, they managed to get a pick onto QB as well, which might open things up. There's no counter snipe here to Pandemic. Someone just opens their shutter. You might be able to find a demo man if he's not too careful. No one really peeking here, but all this space you're giving should allow someone to get in through another door. And they've giving the attempt.
Yeah, they bust Lardox in to kind of clear the trap. And they're supporting him with crossbows as well to kind of keep him a bit tankier, keep him alive in this sort of push out. They couldn't quite pull it off though, because even if you're a soldier that busts through, you can't kill the stickies yourself. You can only just knock them about, and it's still just too much time wasted. Haunts, though, trying to play off the distraction, doesn't find the pick, and now we're back to the drawing board. But this is much more coordinated and kind of surgical from MANDEM in their sort of last cracks, which is severely lacking, I think, from Forfens. They either do it or they don't.
Yeah, I feel like they've been going for the odd opportunities a lot more and really trying to get something started. They just send this triple bomb in, get the gun, but no one is even near to the medic, so it's a 4-man sack here. And with only a minute left, I'm surprised they went for this, because this now allows Forfens to push out. The singular scout and medic have absolutely no chance of clinching onto thing. And with this Uber, it's just going to make it near impossible to push back.
Oh
into the
no,
second
they
point.
actually don't want to.
They're going to round reset it.
I mean, that's okay. I think the mid was tolerable. It wasn't that bad. It had like elements of success. So yeah, they're just going to give this up. And I mean, they've got 20 seconds free still over on MANDEM. They could maybe fish for one last thing. 18 seconds is a long time in FPS land. And there we go. We're going in with the Uber charge. It's only a level 1 sentry gun because they had to switch off the engineer for a scout, and this could get a bit hairy. They pop off the Uber. They clean up Haunts and Lardux pretty quick, and oh, they can't get fancy on top of the point. Actually, the overtime from the second point, that would have been annoying.
Yeah, it would have been crazy if they had even like that little bit more, and maybe they could have pushed out, got someone aggressive, but it's just going to be a classic round reset here. France want to go back to that mid here, playing some classic EU TF2. I kind of wanted them to push out and get something going, but it's the right decision because it's so hard to push out from second into mid. There's just so much more opportunity for the attacking team onto that second point.
I think MANDEM would have made more of a go of it if they were aware that the overtime from that point would have had that effect there. But what can you do? Okay, another Brugesman kind of quick mid. Doesn't work, no shoe, and yeah, already we're just positioning quite nicely on MANDEM just to open up to the aggressive plays. Where's Demo? Where is he?
See who goes aggressive here. They might want to take someone out on that right-hand side, but it's actually a sticky trap kill. First onto Pandemic. Now this is going to open things up as they are just rushing in, sending soldiers deep, trading off here. Can they find anything more, though? Deli's so aggressive, trying to find something.
No,
but he's stickied off, going to lose his own life here. And now it's decided MANDEM, who should be able to walk forward and do something. Oh, and look at that, lose them all as well. Yeah, they get to refight mid for free here.
Yeah, Haunts maybe dissuaded a bit, but they're already pushing in from Valley. It's only one scat. He's trying to act big. He's trying to scare them off. Muller taking too much damage from Fancy, who's just shooting and lobbing the stickies. And yeah, this is this awkward sort of Uber. They do force out Oppie's Uber, but it is a better Uber. They have respawns on the side of Forfens, so there is ways for them to get back into this. They start off with a Pandemic pick. This is a good shout, and QB even staying alive, making space for his team to come back in. QB coming out clutch for his team. Lardux brought down very low. Could get picked off here, and has, and yeah, second is lost because of that.
Yeah, that was a mid 2.0 fight. It was looking nice for MANDEM at the start, but Pandemic losing its life for kind of that second mid fight in a row does make it go the way of Forfens and getting a few more picks. This time secures them second, and now they're straight into last turbo.
Yeah, the sentry gun cleaned up. Haunts in no man's land. I managed to, must have got a crossbow, because how does he survive for that long? Nice jump coming in from Demo. A lot of damage, a lot of cap time from QB, but nobody is there to really kind of capitalize on all this extra damage.
Advantage for Forfens. They don't want to capitalize on it. They don't know that they have this Uber advantage, otherwise they could have potentially tried to go in, get those picks, and just maybe send Nevo on
They should have known. They should have 100% known that they had to use their Uber earlier and all of that, but maybe they just constitute all of this sort of fighting as bad building. And yeah, if only they knew how much they were scared and vulnerable on MANDEM in that situation.
I feel like you just get Deli 8 stickies, he carpets the point there, gets one pick. They just win it. Like, they can absolutely win that with the amount of cap time. However, now it's going to be Sax having to come in. There are the man trades out here, so not going to be taking knockback from the center.
Oh, a lot of cap time. That's a very nice choice. They pop off Uber as well, and all the panic. I think that might have been double man treads, maybe, because Demo got him pretty unscathed as well. And 100% Uber charge. This is on the cards here for Forfens.
Yeah, I'm loving how players are starting to abuse these unlocks a little more, knowing these high bomb situations can work super, super well if you just change up one thing, if that's parachute, if that's man treads, and it's good to see the man treads getting a little more play. We kind of only ever saw them on Snakewater, but I think Metalworks, the perfect map to start using them. Now 100% advantage for the top-end side.
Fancy is hiding. He's putting on his best Badlands impression. Will Nevo see him spotted in the sky? He's also being juggled up. They've got a Pyro trying to just reflex to keep that sentry gun alive as long as possible. And also it's just ever so annoying for these projectile classes. He just gets burnt to a crisp, poor Deli. There's so much cap time that Soldier trying to get in on the last moment. It's only Nevo and Mula alive, and they're looking to just save and bank whatever they have for the next push.
If Nevo knew that both those players were like 50 HP chasing him, that could have been him just walking into last. I really want them to take these like tiny opportunities to try to do something because it makes amazing viewing here. However, they have uber advantage, right? What is the point of like going in for that risky play where you could lose your medic?
I'm trying to click on Mula and see if he has the Solemn Bow, if he can maybe call out some of these things, but in the chaos of all the fighting and crossbowing, maybe just crits on June, you say. Okay, well, we have an Uber charge coming in, and let's see if this crits has time to actually fruition. They're trying to play the point, but they're still Ubered. They haven't done anything with this Uber charge, and they get a good amount of damage onto the heavy. They actually get the point, the capture. They play the point at the final moments, and all of that focus was taken away from MANDEM, and they were busy looking at the soldiers.
Yeah, they kind of were all pushed back a little bit there on the MANDEM side, just allowed the forfeit scouts to get onto the point, and they just won it, right? And that looks super good. They played those last few fights very conservatively, getting Mula out, getting those Uber advantage.
Oh.
And yeah, it looks like we're going to have a radio broadcast as our producer has crashed. It seems his recording crashed now. It is his game. So we'll give you radio broadcast. Fancy coming in. Brugman does find the first rocket, can't find the second. Fancy is plenty healthy here as the rest of his team comes in on this top left-hand side. It's another bomb straight to Fancy. Goes down this time with the help of QB here. And this is a good start for the 4th Fence team, but they need to make sure they don't lose these players who are super low.
Oh my god, 4th Fence are getting aggressive, and I'm loving it. D-Maul is going further. And he's already on second. He's on his own. He's a single man in a single world and will go down. But the rest of 4th Fence have turned up, and they've brought some stragglers out against the MANDEM line. And Pandemic might be the next one on the chopping block. Lockdox is caught in absolutely, I don't know where he's trying to accomplish, but he will get pick onto QB into house, and I guess because Larlox is caught behind, they want to come back in over on the MANDEM. They're defending their second point. Haunts is always seems to be having a flank fight whenever I have a look at him, and yeah, the 4th Fence kind of debating whether they want to come back in. Nevo feels it. Brugman's going to go down, however. Demo goes in deep, gets the force onto Obby. That's an Uber charge advantage if they can get out over on 4th Fence. Mula's feeling a little pressure, almost got cut off from that lower doorway. Won't actually get caught though, and they've come out of that Uber unscathed over on 4th Fence. It's now their game in this round.
Yeah, that was looking so close. They were so hesitant to really do anything, waiting for those soldiers, though, to do absolute work, and they completely deliver on the 4th Fence side. Now it's 100% Uber advantage for the Frenchies here, as they do try to take something in through alley, but they're always wary of these potential soldier bombs that can come in aggressive here. It doesn't look like anyone's going to go for it, but there's so much pressure on the MANDEM side. Finally, they get in for free, and they might even get a soldier pick for their time here. It's Lardox going down here. While this has all been happening though, Oopie always 75% Uber. He drops the traps?
How? Where were the traps? Where were they, Steven?
I don't know, but Fancy just had so many stickies everywhere. It might have been just a soldier push stickies knocking. Yeah, right?
But,
oh, no.
I mean, surely you must have seen them.
It just sometimes happens, right? You don't expect the blind debt. You have to go over them if you want to continue that pressure, because you knew the Ubers were evening up. And now look at this, they're coming in on MANDEM.
They've got no medic, and they're still fighting, and
the
they're winning, Steven. They're actually believing the medic was holding them back. Pandemic does get a random kill on the flank, and now he will draw back a couple of players from 4th Fence. But they don't need heals, they don't need Uber, but they do need to defend their point. The second point is trying to be weaseled out from under their noses, but Nevo has come back. The man doesn't even have a buff, and he's scared off 2 members of MANDEM. Mula's back now with the World of the Living. He hasn't got an Uber, but he's got a good spirit in his heart. Demo is trying to push last. And yeah, they have an Uber charge on Mandem, but they are running scared here.
Yeah, that was a sackable time from Tamul. He really did not manage to get much done there. Wanted to go for something a bit off timing, was hit by a spam rocket of that soldier coming in. I think kind of knocked him off his jump he intended to do. But they're looking so good on the side of Forfence. It's insane that Mandem lost that side. They're feeling the pressure here. You can see it in the way they're playing. They're so disorganized, so disorientated. People aren't in the positions they need to be here. And now, every time a second ticks down on this clock.
Yeah, it's 15 minutes left, half time for this. They've got a roundup and they've got some nice stylish boots on the little Frenchman called Demol. Let's see if we can make things happen. The Sentry Gun is hitting him, but it's not pushing him. He will get the pick early onto Boulder. But sadly, Brugman doesn't have the same sort of style and footwear. Will go down easily to the Sentry Gun. And whether or not they bite from this, Deli getting aggressive to say a lot of his team members are down. Deli's gonna feed, sign here and here for your free meal, but he will get the trade onto Fancy, so maybe have traded a couple of bucks here. But Muller's gonna get forced at the door.
Really bad.
And yeah, there's no reason for Oppie to use her Uber, so they're just gonna hold on to it. But what worth is an Uber if they don't dare push out?
I don't know if you say that. It looks like they are setting up to go for something aggressive at least. Need to get these players a little bit healthy before they try to. But this is kind of a golden opportunity, and these are the risks they need to take on the side of MANDEM. They are that round down, so they need to be in the driver's seat when they do get the opportunities. Need to be careful not to lose too many players.
Picked off the Uber in a little bit late. They will lose one frag down for this. Boulder trying to get aggressive. Will get the pick onto Deli. Delving deep, and yeah, that is enough for them. They think they will back off. They will keep this capture over on the second point, and it flip-flops the other way. Muller now has the Uber charge, and Deli should be coming back with the rest of his team. Let's see what they can make of it.
Yeah, they've looked so good on these fights into Ali so far here. We'll see if they can really get anything happening. Soldier bombs do send in deep. Denied by Lardox. It's a fat air shot to there. Takes down Brugman. Easy peasy there. So not going to be able to use this Uber advantage on the side of Forfence. And even it looks like MANDEM, they want to take a little bit of space in that house, but are going to just back up for now. Going to let things even up on the side of Forfence. But they don't have a huge reason to be making any more super aggressive plays. They need to just kind of keep their advantages and make it on MANDEM to try to push out, try to get something happening. And at this point, it's going to be so hard, right? You're always going to be on the low ground when you push out.
Yeah, they're playing a bit greedy over on the side of Forfence. I think they really didn't want to use their Uber. They just wanted to see if the scare of the Uber was enough to push them out here. But picking off a soldier like that in those sort of transitional points puts a lot of wind out of their sails. He's going to go in. He's going faking a jump and allowing D-Ball to get on top of him. He doesn't pop, though. Will keep the Uber charge. Haunts goes down to taking advantage of all the distraction and all the hype around that Demo play. It was a nice jump. It just wasn't a nice set of rockets and some nice dodging from Oppie. But they're still going to go without their Demo flank. And yeah, Lardox is in behind, but QB's keeping tabs though, and they're just going to try and get in from the house area instead. But Fancy has it on lockdown. Usually if you can get a soldier in that house area, in that lobby area, it is very annoying and almost kind of destabilizing to kind of hold on to that second still, but they clean up that soldier really quickly. Very nice from MANDEM. And now they're making the slow push into mid. They've gotten in for free, not in just for free, they take a demo pick as well. Muller wants to dig deep, he postures aggressive, he pops off his Uber, he forces the Uber charge out of Oppie. Fancy is more than happy with his exchange though, will take the Uber trade, and they will get the midpoint on MANDEM.
Yeah, interesting that they decided to go for that. I feel like it may have been better if they wanted to go back here, and now it gives MANDEM an opportunity to take that drive fight. And this is a kind of a territory where they feel quite comfortable in. They feel comfortable in these DM fights, but it's just Haunts going in deep. Gets Nevo at least though, so this might still be an opportunity for them to fight if they want to.
Oh, if there was just one extra player there, that could have been a bit of a headache for Muller, because I don't think there was another layer of defense for that man in all the chaos. So he's back to a nice healthy range now, and Nevo's probably going to come back quicker than Haunts will, but they're still pressuring here over on MANDEM.
Yeah, Fancy just flinging over those stickies. all the way to try to find someone, try to find a tag, and then we've seen Soldier just go really aggressive off that, but they're doing a good job of positioning themselves.
Lardox.
High bomb coming in from Lardox lands on the trades. We'll go for
just
a second
check in,
one.
just fake in.
Fade around, yeah. They're just toying with them here on the side of Mandem.
Oh,
and it's
Horns got
Horns who goes
caught.
for the-
Oh,
Fancy as well.
Oh,
and look at this.
This is
Oh,
bad.
that's under.
This is bad because
Hoopy.
D-Maul is going in behind as well. And they have no clue. They have no clue about D-Maul being this deep behind. He's going to get the flank of the sentry. They just need to call him out where he is. But they're getting aggressive with the Uber. So D-Maul's been nullified. They pop off their own Uber on forfence. They still could go great, but they need to catch Oppie. They will actually weasel onto the point, buying more time for his team. Maybe the combat classes can still salvage this. It's now entering a DM fest. They take out the medic out of these situations. Fancy's gone pie high into the sky and hoping that he can play off the damage from Boulder. It should be the other way around though. 2 scouts versus 1 scout and 1 demo man. Who wins? It looks like 2 scouts.
Yeah, they played that replay pretty well on the side of Mandem from what should have been a real tragedy of, you know, the side of Forfence using so late. And they do eventually win it out. They had the better Uber, but they lose their medic for it as well. So what was looking nice, it looks pretty tragic now as the replay comes straight back in from Mandem.
Oppie.
Yeah, Kritzkrieg also coming out. It's
QB's
gonna be the instant recap. Do they want to go for another fight as well? on
QB's still
Forfence?
hiding. They don't know he's there. He's going to come out aggressive. He's right on top of Bill. He immediately dies though. And D-Ball got baited by that defense.
Oh, it's a
Deli's been baited as
crumbling.
well. Everyone has been baited. Where does anyone know the Heimlich maneuver? Forfeits are choking. Someone save this team.
Oh, it's an absolute wipe here for the side of Forfence. What a golden opportunity on the plate. They go for that aggressive
Not even capping
refight.
second. They're already at their last. The wolf is at their door, and
Oh.
the house is made of straw. The Chris comes in. QB manages to make it onto point, but it's a round equalizing. It's 8 minutes left. I'm looking like a genius right now with my golden cap prediction.
Why did they go for that refight on Forfence? I know they had QB hiding, but it just feels like it's such a hard opportunity to drive fight that fight, and it's just such a high risk with a round up with only 8 minutes remaining on the clock. You would think they would just kind of chill out a little bit, right? You just go for the more passive play, go
Or
back
at least
into
wait
second.
for QB to come up on
Yeah.
the kill feed or something.
But no, they don't wait around, and it costs them dearly as they just steamroll into last, take an equalizing round, and now we're back onto mid.
Deli's been pushed out for a hot minute, so he's going to come back in and gets a nice little buff, but their positions are a little weaker, but fortunately Mandem are playing so kind of back and centered. Lardox going for the opportune jump and kind of gotcha on D-Maul, and we'll even get okay, won't get a crossbow. No love for you, sir, as he will go down. They can't seem to find any additional sort of picks onto... Okay, I say that. QB kind of singles himself out and will go down to dying in that sort of place. And yeah, I think that was just QB trying to get overextended for the soldier pick. Couldn't quite find it. And, you know, you got to risk some to get some, so c'est la vie. But we're all... Soldier jumping in. Horns doesn't find Moolah as well as he had hoped, but it's fine. No, nothing's really been risked between these two teams.
Yeah, you don't lose anything by going for that sack there. It's the right play from Holt to try to go for something aggressive when they're not really expecting it. We see it kind of works a third of the time, so why not keep trying it? You're only up now, right? You're basically ready to go for a sack wave as soon as Holt is here. You've only really lost 30 seconds on that clock, and much worse can happen. However, QB, back on the French class, back on his own class here of the Spy. They will not be expecting this. No one has checked this. This could be huge from QB.
All right, as long as
Forfence don't come out in absolute full force we're on this QB play, then maybe this could work out. But it's going to be hard. He needs some distraction. He needs some noise being generated. Otherwise, how is he going to have an opportune time to decloak? He sees Oppie, and they're not really paranoid on this Mandem team. So this is a very successful spy in.
Yeah, they are aware, however, of Haunts. He's only on the standard in Bid's watch.
What?
So it
Oh
did
my
show
God,
himself, and it's just a huge bomb in from Lardox, and he just
Oh,
gets the
Moolah!
because they're
Moolah's
looking
been
for the
forced.
Spy. Yeah,
Haunts?
it just Lardox formed in while they were looking for the Haunts on Spy. He should finally go down as he runs out of cloak here, but can QB really do anything to equalize?
Yeah, I don't think QB's been found out at all. So they're playing... QB is very much doing an all-in poker move, though. He is looking primarily at Oppie and the backstab.
It's just so hard though. I feel like she's always like looking
She's
around.
paranoid,
even though she doesn't
yeah.
think anything
She wasn't
is there.
paranoid earlier, but she's paranoid now. They know that there's only really one win condition, I think. They popped already, so this spy isn't going to have much impact. They just pop in very early on second. They just want this second point. They just want it, that kind of cushion and padding of this second
Andy
point.
was found out.
Andy was found out. But that's one less scout, but they pop in Uber. They're on top of Oppie, and Oppie will go down. The flank team goes in from the side, and Demo holding his own will not completely crumble, and they double dip over on MANDEM, and they want to claim the second point. They don't even get that. It's a wipe the other end. There's hope in the hearts of French people everywhere.
Yeah, this is their opportunity to go for something here. They're going to have big Uber advantage during all of this as well here. They should be able to take second for free because they're going to deny Fancy here as well. So it's no demo man. That should be basically a free push into second here. These soldiers are going to like staying aggressive here, make it as hard as possible, try to grind some of this Uber to try to get it even up for last at least here. But they're coming in so fast on the
Double
offense
soldiers
side.
in onto alleyway. They're looking for Mula. One commits, one backs out. They gobble up the one that's committed, and I think that's going to be enough, I think, for MANDEM. I think they're just trying to delay a little bit of time. That is that region where that Uber charge isn't quite as potent anymore. They have an Uber charge on Oppie, but they think if they go quick enough over on fourth fence, they might still have some impact. Uber not quite yet. Scout on point. No stickies have been detonated. They've actually saved the scouts, but the Uber comes out. Everyone comes out of the spawn on a practical class, and when the dust settles, there's actually a bit more damage on the side of MANDEM than there is, but they've got a heavy weapons guy. Can they? Oh, the cap!
Oh, they just stand up.
Point Uber just sneaks past everybody. It's not a back cap, it's a front cap.
Oh, how do you let that happen there? Yeah, the players were a little bit worse on the MANDEM side, but that Putis is just ever so scary. But those two soldiers jump perfectly in. QB just waltzes in. No one looks at him, and he caps the point. They were just not ready for that play here. And now fourth fence, they lead once again. It's 3 minutes left on this round timer. Have they choked here on the side of MANDEM, or can they make a miracle happen and take us potentially into a golden cap?
The counter choke, I couldn't see it coming. It's 3 minutes left. They can't ride on their passive gameplay. They need to get things happening if they're on the side of MANDEM. They've got a crit squeak. I like this gameplay. Lorvox is making things happen. He just took out Mula out of the game, and now they have something to work with. He's even drawing some eyes over on Haunts as well. Allowing, and they have this crit streak still bubbling away. It should be ready to go for this last push.
Yeah, unless they're super aware that this crit streak is about to come out and they do a miraculous counterplay of just bombing in and getting straight onto this medic and nullifying the potential damage that this crit streak could do. This could be absolutely massive, and it doesn't look like they do, as they're just setting up with this Pyro on the right-hand side, and he's just going to be so unaware that this crit is going to be coming out.
I mean,
tragic.
You have got the recipe here to anti-ing this crit. So, Pyro will at least survive the initial crit coming in. They first go in, they get a sticky onto Demo. Demo doesn't die though. They know it's a crit, and they're just trying to nuke down this sentry gun. And now they need to get people on top of the point though, and they counter with Demo blocking it. Somebody else needs to get on top of the point. Oh good goodness! And Francie, he's just spamming the point with stickies. More hands on deck, and the hands have actually found the deck, but the pipes are staying true.
Oh, they're going crazy.
One soldier knocking off another scout. He's just a lowly soldier. He's already dead.
Who is writing this script tonight? Because they are doing an absolute masterclass, giving us an absolute nail-biter of a last game here. A minute and a half around. That crit's not able to do anything, but they just play the cap so hard, force the fourth fence side to jump onto it and lose their lives. Boulder absolutely cleans up, and they bring it to a 2-2 here.
You can keep your lands, you can keep your scatters, you can keep your new panzers. Take this game and inject it into my veins as we are going over to another mid. It's got to be the last one. There's enough time for maybe one hell of a round, and we're still critzing. We're still going fast and large over on the side of MANDEM. They're playing passive so far though, but it all plays into the game plan. Demo on top of Oppie, a nice dodge. Dodging so well, still dodging.
Oh, finally goes down to the scout class, and Mula, he is actually feeling the benefit of being alive in this server, has an Uber charge basically ready for his team. 25 seconds left. I think they just need to pop onto a point at this point.
Right, they need to do anything to just not let MANDEM absolutely run over them here. And
with
this time ticking down,
they're actually getting aggressive. They forced the Uber, or should I say Mula's forced the Uber. Boulder, oh no, I don't know, they're gonna backcap him. They've sent a soldier into second point. We're losing our head a little bit. Mula goes down. Stalemate, okay, I'm calm. I'm calm. Are you calm? I'm calm.
You were really going for it on that last one, not really checking the time. They needed to get so quickly onto that cap, but knew they just didn't really have the players here. Fancy getting himself hyped up in chat. We're map free. We are golden cap here, and they are giving us some entertainment here tonight. Could it be MANDEM? Could it be Forfeit? Are MANDEM going to choke, go back to their old habits, or are they going to start cementing this legacy as this top Prem team? Or can the underdogs coming all the way from the lower bracket Forfeit clutch up and get a miracle here? Well, we've got a little bit of time to talk about it, because they're going to want to take a break and talk about what they want to do here.
All right, Stephen. I threw some caster curse out there. You know, it could be invoked very powerfully right now, or very smugly. One or the other. I think you're going to have to just take a minute and just explain to me, hype up Forfence, you know, be their little cheerleader and like at least kill some of my caster curse, equal it out here. What do you think Forfence can do, and what have they been doing right?
I think they've done a very, very good job of playing around Mula and keeping him alive and keeping these advantages and playing the smart game here. Sometimes they've been going down to just not being able to get things really started, right? Not being able to get the sacks in, or not being able to really get their foot into mid and get those early picks that they're attempting to on some of their bombs. But I think if they keep playing around Mula and keep going for what's been working for them, the bonds that have been working, a lot of work being done by Demol as well. I think if they can keep enabling him, they could be in with a huge chance. They just need to steamroll things though, right? I feel like as soon as they get a bit of momentum, they absolutely dominate this game, and they have absolutely no answer here on MANDEM. But on the other side of the dice, it's been the same, right? For the side of MANDEM.
You gotta give credit to MANDEM, because obviously they've been playing very controlled, very sort of calm, maybe even you could say passive TF2, very clean, like cleanly getting out, cleanly just like giving things up. But when the chips were down, they weren't one note. They got aggressive. They found the way to win, the stepping stones, and that's hard, especially in these high pressure situations. And they're not exactly, you know, the old dog in this. They are still fresh faced in the grand scheme of things. So, and to do this with all this pressure, I mean, that's maybe the characteristics of a champion ETF2L winner.
Yeah, we'll have to see who can win this one out. It's just been so close on this map. This has definitely been where they've been the best matched, right? I mean, we've only seen a couple hero plays, but for the most part, it's just been these teams playing super solid. The soldiers are playing insane for the side of MANDEM. I feel like Haunts and Lardox are always doing absolute work. Fancy is doing huge damage. But I feel like we see the Chariots a lot for the side of Forfence. And actually, their aggressive plays have been working out super well for them as well. So, I don't know. It's so hard to call what's going to happen here. I think I've still got to put my bets on the side of France here, on the side of Forfeit. It feels awful to say as a British person, but I think they might have this in the bag. I feel like the choke is going to come out from MANDEM.
Whoever came up and had some faith in those man treads, as it's really paid off. I think it's like stonked all the way to the moon, and I feel the bubbling confidence, and like now the last is not this scary thing for them. It's an opportunity, and I like the game plans of just like ransacking the point. I mean, I'm maybe getting a little bit cheesy. Maybe it's a little bit of like for MANDEM on these last points, but that is like literally at its scientific peak of, you know, pressure. So I'm gonna give them, you know, a little bit of wiggle room on for MANDEM here, because they clutch just as many times as they maybe beef things.
Yeah, absolutely. They are the team with the clutch factor here. We've seen a couple of these players go absolutely massive, getting some picks they absolutely don't deserve to, getting some drops from blind debts here. So it's
I,
as I said, it's an awful one to try to predict.
I will throw in one little bonus thing as well. I think 4th scouts are a bit more hot right now. I'm not sure if it's just because they seem much more of a collective unit and kind of a one thinking hive mind on Mandem, but I don't know. Nevo and QB walk around like they're the best player in the server, and hell, sometimes I believe it when I'm watching it.
You've got to have that confidence, but you also need to be careful because Fancy has been hitting his shots here. I just remember back to QB. He was hiding, right? He wanted to rush Fancy, and then it all just completely collapsed from there. It was basically just him not getting that one pick that completely ruined things here for that 4th side. So they need to be a little bit careful, a little bit wary that they don't have an overconfidence here because things could go wrong. And I'm so tense. I'm so ready for this game. I don't know what these players are waiting for here. Fancy seems ridiculously hyped to play this game. He's been in chat all game, bigging it up, saying that he's nervous, saying that he's ready for this game. Oh.
I promise you, I bet they're granting to their maximum levels right now. They are literally talking about what steps they are going to take to mid, what kind of hat I'm going to wear, literally the whole shebang, and just running through the flow charts, over and over and over.
Yeah, I mean, they have time to do, right? They are just waiting for these last few plays to ready up. And as we start talking about it, it is going to be the side of 4th finally readying up. We are in golden cap territory here. It is Mandem. It is 4th on our final map here. It's 1 point to take it all, to take the glory. We'll see who can take it here in this final map. Take us away, Turbo.
Where's Boojman? Where is he? I don't want to eat a shoe at this point, please. Okay, he's not there, thank goodness. They're actually just going to go for something more cookie cutter. They're going to go with 2 soldiers bombing pie out of the sky. Muller, feeling a bit of pressure, will not go down. Haunts even chase after him and they don't find it. And yeah, it seems both sides have come out of this kind of hurting and scathing. But the difference, Muller is alive, Offie is not.
It was a beautiful double bomb there from the side of 4th, just landing on the medic. Getting a nice direct, and then the follow-up from the 2nd soldier is going to be Mandem capping up this 1st point, but they're going to get bullied out as there is this hill advantage. But Fancy, he just stays in for so long here. They're just allowing the rest of his team to kind of get in just a little bit, so they're not going to be instantly.
I hope they haven't forgot about that Uber. I hope they haven't forgot about that Uber. I'm going to keep saying it in case they're fiending on the stream right now. I hope you haven't forgot about that Uber. He has it. Mandem, you need to be scared, you need to be worried. Maybe that's why they're spamming from afar, hoping that they can force out this Uber charge in this midpoint area, but they don't quite find it. They're willing to drop D-Maul in this push out to hold on to this Uber, and they're making their way slowly but surely, piece by piece, foot by foot, rocket by rocket, and they have it. They got the midpoint, but it's not a bad affair for Mandem. They have their own Uber now.
Yeah, 31-second Uber advantage lost there for 4th. They were so tentative not to use in there to try to keep that advantage that they completely lost it as things have evened up here for the side of Mandem. They got Uber onto Upi here, and now they're sitting in a position they feel somewhat comfortable with. Onto this 2nd point. It's on to the side of 4th to try to get some sacks going here. Can they find themselves a force?
Oh no, it's the stylish footwear again. They're going to start giving them nightmares about sneakers D-Maul at this rate, and let's see. You see it a lot last, but you don't see a lot of it on 2nd, and he jumps in. Oh my goodness. You don't need to force someone to stop if you just force them into the kill feed.
Yeah, that was decimation. That was a scout class moment. Both scouts just hitting 100 damage from each shot and instantly deleted from the server is D-Maul. And now it is the side of Mandem trying to get a little bit aggressive from this valley area here, but
Mandem.
They think better of it.
Yeah, that's some Mandem style right there. There's like, I don't feel it. Everybody goes back. Hive mind at full work. Whoever's generaling this army, it's a good army.
Yeah, but Lardox, he's sitting here. He's not checked here. Trying to get some damage in. Unfortunately, not really able to get much started. Has to back out here. Allows 4th this area. a little bit easier, but they're taking it slow, they're taking it steady, they're keeping us onto their feet of where they're going to go here. Are they just going to send someone in through main here? Is Demul going to go for something aggressive, or is he just there for a little bit of extra spam?
You can taste the tension. It's impalpable, almost choke-worthy.
Oh,
I
he's
can't
getting
watch.
funny now. Oh, I think you should be watching as they are fighting in this house area. Horns goes in aggressive. Will he get taken down?
Wins the
will.
fight.
Yeah, but traded out by Pandemic there, so
Oh,
that's
the
one less
flank
person
though!
in house.
They
They get Ubi!
He's gone down! They dropped the Uber on Darby! Oh no, this is bad news. This is very uncharacteristic. They kind of focused so much on helping Haunts out that they forgot that Medic can bleed.
That's such a good heads-up play by Brugman there. He just saw he was going to be unspotted, went for the flank. It's given them full Uber advantage. The side of Mandem, they're already back on their last
my
zero
God, they've
defense
just given
onto this
them
second.
second. Yeah.
This is it. This is it. If you are 4th fence, you need to try to go in on this. June is on the Kritzkrieg, so may have it during all of this, may have his shining light.
They've hidden the
oh
level
my
1
goodness.
sentry. We are in full panic mode over on Mandem. Oh, can they shoot the final silver bullet? They force off pretty early. They don't want to lose the snipers at this point. Nevo is going in deep. He will get the last little flash and remnant. He'll die for the cause. He's on the point. Lardux will be defending it next. Boulder doesn't quite go down though, as they had the flanking deli, not finding the full kill onto poor Boulder. And okay, whew. We're now retreating back. We have a Kritzkrieg. We have the building blocks here for a comeback. Maybe this is a blessing in disguise. Kritzkrieg has served them pretty well in the overall match as far as Kritzkriegs go, and it would just add to the clutch factor. Lardux takes a peek.
If there's a man I would trust with this Chris, it would be Fancy here, right? He could send an absolute nuke all the way into them from this far back. And who expects this, right? Who expects them to be doing this?
It's a
Once it's
repeat.
down, they're not doing what we maybe expected them to do. Maybe waiting for them to get into this valley area so they can send up a sticky that's going to be, you know, maybe a little more effective here. We'll see what they want to do. But
They've used the crits,
advantage.
they pop, they can't quite
Oh, they
hit
dropped
Moolah.
Deli.
Moolah just dodges it. He hasn't even popped though. Absolute monumentous balls on this man to not pop the Uber and a crit sticky that close.
Yeah. Cool, calm, and collected on the side of Moolah. I can feel you stressing here, but Moolah, he's chill. He's been in these situations before. He knows how this plays out if they play it correctly. Now they know they're on the Kritzkrieg. They know it's Uber advantage. They know there's no way there's going to be a trade, and this is 4th Fence's opportunity. Once again here, they're setting up in Valley. They want to go in deep, send a soldier in here, but he's going to be met here. They don't want to give this up for free on the side of Mandem. Do eventually have to back out. Are going to have a Kritzkrieg once again here, but what do you do with it when you're defending with a Kritzkrieg? They know that it can just jump onto your medic, and there's absolutely no chance of survival.
Yeah, they're not going to rotate it. They're just going to Uber in pretty early and already on top of Pandemic. Very low, being healed up. Kritzkrieg, laser beams, not involved. Ubers are getting exchanged by everyone. Boulder is going for the last ditch. Pyro, he's going to go down. It's looking awfully French tonight. Over on 4 Friends. Viva la vida. They have done it here in this grand final setting. It's golden. It's a winner. It's gold all the way for 4 Fence, Stephen.
After looking so bad at the start of this season, 4th Fence losing their first 4 matches, only just clinching their way into playoffs from Golden Cap wins, Golden Cap losses, and a couple of draws here and there. They have made it all the way through that lower bracket, all the way to defeat Mandem. They've choked it once more. The second place curse is back. 4th Fence take it. They're feeling in themselves. They're feeling good here. They have clutched it up to win a Premiership final for France here.
They laughed at their first couple of weeks. They laughed at Yak and his sort of land, sort of official, if you could call that official. They laughed at poor Sketo on the way to the playoff. They laughed at New Panzer, and now they're laughing at poor Mandem, who just had it slip through their fingers ever so lightly, and it's got to sting the soul, but it's got to drink so good for 4 Fence.
They should be so happy here on the side of 4th Fence. They were the underdogs during all of. No one thought that they could pull it off. and they do it in incredible fashion. Win that first map that we believe wasn't theirs, lose a second one in crushing defeat here, bring it back to a 2-2, and then win that golden cap. Whoever wrote the script for this season was cooking, because no one could have predicted this, right?
Get me them logs. Get me them logs. Command center, get me them logs right now. I want to just look at them. Okay, maybe not the golden cap ones, but the regular ones.
Yeah, who popped off here? Who has done absolute work for this team? But I feel like it's a full team kind of thing during all this. I feel like every single player had an insane bout at one point or another here.
The answer's there, right there in the logs. It's written in plain text. Delhi 69, aka the carry. He actually feeling himself on this map. He was playing very confidently, and credit to it. Like, this is these sort of plays, especially in those final moments where, you know, you see a bit more desperation plays, and maybe you can get stirred by these sort of confidence and, you know, just walking in. But this man's jumping in. He's not walking in. He's not running in. He's jumping in and allows some space for his team. And he was ever so solid. I mean, credit to Fancy. He still tops the charts on damage, but that's just because he's got a whole autonomous machine at his side. Fourth fence. They did it. I'm looking at for any other sort of stats that are jumping out at me. I mean, the stats kind of go against them, if I'm really honest, but I think it just comes down to the simple objective gameplay. They were capping points. MANDEM just did not.
Yeah, I mean, I
TurboTaps, I have an important question. Is this the first full French team that's ever won ETF2L?
Okay, yeah, I think you're right, Peter. This is the first full French team that has ever won ETF2L.
Yeah, incredible stuff. They should be super, super proud of themselves. Coming into winning that Nations Cup as well. They had some fire in their bellies, and it's continued on during this in France, finally. After so many years, so many teams, so many iterations, the fourth banner finally wins it out here in a miraculous fashion, to be honest.
Well, now I'm asking the same question what a lot of players and a lot of viewers and maybe even yourself, Stephen. What now?
What now? I mean, you take this, right? And you go to LAN. I think you've got to take this French roster, and you've got to take it to this Poland coming up in March, right? You need to. You need to show you that you're not just onliners, you're offliners as well.
But what about MANDEM? What happens for them, Stephen?
Oh, it's the crushing defeat, but I have to say, I think they took it well. You didn't see, but there were instant GGs from the MANDEM side.
And it wasn't a bad game played. It wasn't a bad game played.
No, but a lot of demure there from them. And they took it well. And I think they just GG go next. Go next season. Show that you're still in it. They still were amazing during the main season. And they've got to try once more, surely.
And what's wild as well is I'm pretty sure ETF2L has changed hands about who's won the season about 5 times in a row. I can't even remember the last time that's happened.
No, it was a crazy game, and it's been a crazy season overall. I think we should give an MVP of that game.
Oh, you're right. I love the spirit. Okay, obviously it has to be French here. We'll be outcriers as quite copium launderers if we don't make it a very French player. Who do we give it to? Who do I have the right? Because honestly, I think everybody had their moments here. Everybody had their negative moments as well, but that's TF2. I have a name in mind, but I'll let you go first.
Yeah, I think there's one man who stood out to me during all of that. He's an unsung hero. He's been playing for so long, and he's been waiting for this Prem gold medal for quite a while. It's Nevo for me.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Apparently one for Porto, so I'm completely wrong.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was like...
So I'm completely wrong. But he hasn't been waiting that long, but he played incredibly. And yeah, they would not have won without him there. What about
All right, okay.
Who's your pick here? Who has been waiting for so long?
You know what? I'm a soldier bias. I'm going to call it through and through. I don't think that he did anything negatively that I was kind of responding to. I'm going to give it to Demol. I think he was actually doing some unsung sort of chicanery, but literally everybody here was doing fantastic. Mula was doing fantastic. Kiwi was doing fantastic. Boojman was doing fantastic. Fantastic squad. Fantastic job by all. Fantastic all around. I don't think it was a hell of a game to watch. We need to circle this down. We're going to skip the interviews, let the players enjoy their champagne, and yeah.
Yep, I think that's all for us tonight. Then we've said the MVPs, we've said our bits. Big congratulations to Forfence and GG. Go next for the side of MANDEM. Do make sure to follow for next season content, LAN content, all that good stuff. But any last words from you here?
Bon voyage and au revoir. Merci.